Hello, everybody, and welcome to Smashbox TV's episode 367. I am your host, John Van Derzen, and as always, with me for 367 episodes, we have Terry Brickley, Tyler Miller, not sure which one.
I'm Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, and this is my video vlog.
Uh,
I can do a good Terry. I can make sure and always put flip the sentence backwards. It's kind of his own take on the Yoda style. Have you ever noticed this?
I don't know if I ever noticed that.
Okay, well, hosting the show with me tonight is Johnny Van Derzen.
Oh, he does
Those
do
linking
that.
verbs. Yeah. And with an amazing upshot is Adam Hammes. You know, like he does the action first. He's a good journalist.
Oh, that's impressive, I guess. And he has a communications degree, an actual communications degree. He double majored in college, communications and computer, MIS, which is like poor man's computer science. Most of which he just copied off of me. So
Mission Impossible.
Management information systems. But yeah.
Oh.
We're not here to talk about Terry Miller tonight. We have someone even better. For those of you that don't know, Terry Miller is not available tonight. He is somewhere between, he might be in New York, but he was just over on the East Coast, and then he's going to be flying to Bend to do commentary for next weekend at GMC, but he didn't go up to GMC. I don't understand his travel schedule, but he could not make it tonight, so instead I called some people that I really wanted on the show, and Tyler Brickley somehow got on that list.
Just like, you're like, is this Paul Ulibarri? I'm like, no, it's Tyler, but what do you want?
I was like, no. We have Tyler Brickley on tonight, and I originally didn't have a guest planned for tonight because I was just busy doing a lot of other things, and normally Terry, he's the one that kind of makes all the scheduling and guest lineups and everything, and Tyler was like, hey, you know who we should have on? Our AM World Champion, Allie Smith, and I was like, she's too good for us. She's truly too good for us.
That's not untrue. She also happens to be on tonight.
So yeah, but she gracefully decided to join us. I think Tyler begged and pleaded, and she said yes. And so she's sitting right now in our Disc Baron digital green room. So I don't know hardly much about Allie other than that she won AM World. So I hope we get to know her. Tyler, what do you know about Allie?
Allie and I are basically best friends at this point. She won AM Worlds, and then we've played one round of disc golf together.
Well, I mean...
So, I mean, what more...
if it weren't for your wife, I would say you're going steady, but...
Right.
I mean,
and there's trademark issues with the DGA putter. Like, they would come after us hard.
Oh, yeah, the steady. Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
By the way, you can't go steady with anyone.
Oh.
We will get you.
So right now, let's bring Allie Smith into the show. Hold on, I'll make sure I grab the right one. Allie Smith, welcome to the Smashbox TV podcast.
Hi,
the
thanks
best
so much.
version there has ever been. You know, there's never been another version. It's always been me and Tyler forever and ever. So,
no, down here. Down here. No, Allie, down here.
There you go.
There we go.
Nailed it.
I figured that one out.
So best friends, yes or no? Can you clear that up? Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'd say we've known each other our entire lives, pretty much.
She hesitated.
Through that one round.
I mean, there was a little hesitation there. Not much, though. Less than you normally get, Tyler.
Yeah, normally people are like, no. Just instantly, no. Stop talking to me, please.
Well, like I said, Allie, welcome to the show, Smashbox TV. We're going to get to know you a little bit better tonight, and hopefully this is the reason why I bring in a guest host, because I don't normally do the interviews, as most people know. I tend to sit back a little bit, talk on the chat while Terry does most interviews. So tonight, Tyler is going to be my crutch. So he's gonna help pick me up. But first and foremost, let's talk about you. Allie, where are you from?
I was originally born in St. Louis, Missouri, but most of my life in Kansas City, Missouri. Currently where I'm residing as well.
And that's where you live now. How close to Tyler do you live?
I think you're what?
It's kind of the best friend zone, you know? Emphasis on the friend zone, but we're right in that geographic area.
Yeah.
30
Pretty
minutes
close.
or so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's within best friend zone. So
Mhm.
that's great. So how
We
long
need
have
to
you,
trademark that, by the way.
the DGA has a disc coming out? The friend zone very shortly. Don't worry.
Perfect.
How long have you been playing disc golf? And did you start in the Kansas City area? That's a pretty big area, not only for disc golf but for women's disc golf.
Right. Actually, the first round of disc golf I ever played was in Springfield, Missouri, which there's not a lot of disc golf. There's 1 or 2 courses there. I went to college there after graduating high school, and I actually joined the Ultimate Frisbee team there. That was really what I wanted to do, but I somehow stumbled upon a round of disc golf, and it was awful. I was so bad. It was just the mechanics are the same but very different, and I was not prepared for that. So I very quickly said, I'm never playing disc golf. I'm going back to Ultimate. And I played Ultimate for 5 years there. And then after graduating college, I moved back to Kansas City, and I didn't really have a team that I wanted to really be a part of in the Ultimate sense. And I still wanted to throw a disc, and quickly found disc golf. There are numerous courses here in Kansas City, very close to where I ended up residing. So
What would you say is your home course in Kansas City? Because Kansas City is known for courses like Waterworks, Swope. I don't know if Swope is around anymore. I think.
Ooh, R.I.P. Swope.
yeah.
R.I.P. Swope.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
exactly.
I'm going to rattle off ones from about 1998. So Olathe. What would you call your Rosedale? Rosedale upper and lower? Still there?
That's a little, yes, still there on the Kansas side, but my home course would be Bad Rock Creek. It's a Stocksdale Park. It's a nice 18 hole. They're really lengthening it currently and trying to make it more of a championship level from what I've heard, the rumblings on Facebook. But that was my home course.
On Sunday, me and Ben played it from the Golds, and Ben did great.
It's challenging. The Golds are hard. They're very challenging. But actually, I would say where I first started was the little 9-hole at William Jewell, a college here, which also is pretty difficult. I played it recently again. I can throw significantly better there, but I'm still not birdieing holes there. So I'm very surprised that I continued with the sport, even though having 2 pretty difficult courses as my home courses.
So you started playing because you couldn't find an Ultimate team. Was there somebody that, you kind of started to play with? Is there someone who helped you, a mentor or anything like that in the Kansas City area? Or was it just you by yourself kind of going out and like, I need to throw discs?
That was really it. It was the need to throw discs. Like I still have Ultimate discs hanging up on my wall as ornaments. But my fiance, Mary, we were on the same Ultimate team, and kind of same thing. We moved to Kansas City and was like, we still want to be active and throw. And it fell in our laps. I think we asked for like a starter set for Christmas, and we got it and started to slowly play. And it was never like a full 18 holes. It was like, we're going to play 5 holes and be done. But it very quickly grew to loving it and loving the flight of the disc and wanting to get better and like compete against each other. Mm-hmm.
Does Mary play too? I didn't ask you this the other day. Does Mary pretty into disc as well, or is she like Allie's going full in for disc golf, but I still like Ultimate better?
So we've definitely both transitioned to full out of Ultimate. We'll love to watch Ultimate, but not in the Ultimate shape to play. But she does play disc golf as well. She's got something going on with her wrists, maybe some tendonitis or just some kind of shooting nerve pain. But she can definitely crush. I mean, she could throw a forehand before I could throw a forehand in disc golf. So,
yeah.
How easily did you make the transition from Ultimate discs to disc golf discs? And I guess my bigger question is, what was the first disc that you really picked up that you loved? I mean, because they're totally different flight styles. So how did you make that adjustment?
Yeah, so definitely, I was a forehand dominant in Ultimate. If I could throw the forehand every time, I would, and that's kind of the case now in disc golf, but not the beginning. Because I was so inclined in forehand in Ultimate, it didn't transfer as well. Your plant leg is the opposite, so the power shift is opposite, and that was hard to switch over. But the backhand was pretty natural, and I feel like it's a little more forgiving. You can get away with maybe some not proper technique in terms of backhand, and I feel like I lost my train of thought of just talking there.
That's fine. That's fine. You played Ultimate for many years.
Yes.
What level of Ultimate did you get up to? I know because lately we've had a lot of Ultimate players kind of step into the sport. Most famously, Ella Hansen, One Throw Ella.
Yeah.
Did you ever play against her in Ultimate? Did you ever get the chance?
No, I did not. I actually had seen her play Ultimate just on YouTube. We would always watch like nationals and things like that. And my fiance Mary was really into following those collegiate teams as they got further into nationals and then out of college. But I only played in college. It's a club sport. We made it to like regionals. And that's the kind of like you go sectionals, regionals, then nationals. Our team didn't have a coach or anything. We just taught ourselves how to play Ultimate, and we're kind of successful at it. But really, it was more just the team bonding experience that really wanted us to kind of stay together and play.
Sounds like you're a self-starter. Ultimate, no coach. Disc golf, no coach. I mean,
yeah,
I want to ask you about your
does she need podcast
too.
hosts, or should she just interview herself, Tyler?
Yeah, exactly. Well, she's also like a rocket physicist, scientist person.
A little bit.
Math teacher.
A little bit. I'm just.
Yes.
We can get into that.
Small rockets. That's it. Just little
I
tiny.
dabble. Yeah.
Dabbling
Like
rockets.
Space X. This is like Space V, you know.
Yeah.
I get it. There's a handful of great questions in the chat. We might not even be able to get to all of them. But Nasser says, was there anybody that you modeled your form off of at the beginning? Like, were you watching YouTube videos and trying to emulate any one person's style?
I don't think so. I'm going back on track of what you had asked earlier about, like, was there a certain disc? I happened to find just, I call them Easter eggs when you find them, lost discs, but didn't have a name or number, reached out on the Facebook, did all those things, couldn't find it. So, I was throwing it. It was a Champion Sidewinder. So an understable disc, but in a more stable plastic. And that just was the forehand disc for me. I can really trust throwing it on a hyzer, which I think a lot of times is difficult for people to throw a forehand on a hyzer. I don't think it's very natural, but for me, that was very natural and an easy progression for me to throw. So maybe it was not necessarily who was I trying to model after, but just comfortable, what felt comfortable for me. I sometimes also learn like what doesn't fit for me. And so I see like Paul McBeth, who else does it? Maybe Adam Hammes, so like the kind of like the check up and down before they throw the forehand. And that's just very unnatural for me. So like that wasn't going to be my style. But definitely like Sarah Hokum does get that power in that hyzer with that forehand. I can always look for her video. She's always throwing a forehand. So that was helpful to see, but not necessarily modeled after.
Yeah, contrary to what happened this past weekend, I would not model my forehand after Adam Hammes. He has way too many quirks and twitches and leg lifts, but he throws a heck of a disc. But
you probably should, JVD.
I should. Allie should not.
Okay, that's fair.
She's probably better. She's not probably. She's way better than throwing forehand than I'll ever be because I'm awful at it. Awful. Like I can throw a backhand pretty well. My forehands are garbage. So, but Adam Hammes has a very good forehand.
He does.
Allie, your forehand form does remind me of Sarah's in the follow through. Like, you don't get quite leaned over. She leans over super far. She's almost like right parallel to the ground, but you know, you lean into it. But the reach back and the snap, like you've got a ton of power on your forehand. Like Johnny said, that I hope to have someday. Must be nice playing a couple years. Johnny, how long have you been playing? I've been playing for 13 years now. Come on.
I picked up my first disc in 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old.
Allie,
cool.
How old were we in 1994?
Shut your mouth. Neither of you were even a twinkle in a parent eye at that point. Your parents were still in high school, probably.
It's like my feed just gets shut off all of a sudden. Oh, technical problem. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. So Allie, you've been playing how many years now? Because you started through, how many years have you been playing, basically?
I would say I'm starting year 4 of just, picking up a disc and actually playing more than once. Yeah. But competitively, I'm about to hit my year mark. I think October of 2020 was my first tournament.
You've been playing competitively for a year, and you just won amateur world championships in advanced women. I mean, there are some pretty big names that have won amateur world championships in general, and you've added yourself to that list. Where do you go from here? I mean, going in there, I'm looking at the player ratings, and you were rated 888 at the time, which was probably the 5th or 6th highest rated. Did you go in thinking I've got a chance for this? I can do this. Did you go into the event thinking that?
I definitely did have that thought process. I did come off of a pretty devastating loss at Ledgestone, got 9th place there, where that was my first kind of, not first place, but I was it was in my mind that I knew I had the capabilities. Everyone has been telling me, you're really good at disc golf and you can really compete. And I had started to finally believe that and saw that through competing. So I knew I had some sort of opportunity, but I was really there for the experience and just to play my game. I think all of the ladies there said that, we just want to, shoot par today, or we just want to play our game. I think we all kind of had that mindset, but in the back of our mind, we knew, other players' ratings, other players' tournament records, things like that as well.
Holy crap, you're not kidding. When you say you hadn't lost before, I went back in 2020.
Yeah, that's what's going to be my next question. She's played. How many events have you played, and what's your win to loss record?
Is it 12 out of 13 now?
That's what what was in my head.
I think so.
Yeah,
it's easier to keep track of the one you didn't win.
Yeah, right. Career events 12, career wins 11. It's what on the PDGA
11,
site.
There was.
Yeah, you may have added another one on there.
I think 11 and 12. I think that's right.
That's. I mean, first of all, that's amazing. So you really truly were devastated when you took 9th at Ledgestone.
I was.
I know. That's the first thing that's in my head too. When she was like, I lost Ledgestone, I got 9th. I'm like, that's pretty freaking good. But when you come off the heels of winning every single event you sign up for, that's pretty amazing. But you're playing FPO in Kansas City Wide Open coming up in a couple weeks, right?
I am. Yes. That's in a few weeks. Mm-hmm.
What's your prep for that been like? Because it's a B tier on paper, but it was said to me it's like the most A tier-ish B tier that you'll ever play in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've got 2 of the courses screenshotted the maps for our division. I think they're still deciding on Bad Rock. They aren't going to have us do golds. It's a modified layout. I feel very confident with Bad Rock just because I've played it the most times of any course here in Kansas City. And then I play Waterworks and then Wilbur Young, which Wilbur Young is a little difficult for me. It's a little further out there. I don't practice it so much, so I'm going to definitely have to get some rounds in there in the next few weeks. But just playing rounds. I've been practice putting. I put my my championship basket in my classroom, so in between passing periods, I'm putting, and during my playing period, I'll putt. So it's actually very helpful.
Now let's just not move past that. Tell us about that basket. Anything special, or anything we need to mention?
Right. Yeah. So it is the basket I won from Am Worlds. It's the Mach 7, I do believe, DGA. It's
wow. Oh, is it really?
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
A beautiful teal color. Mm-hmm. I really like it. I really like it a lot. It's got a wheel on it, so I can move it wherever I want in my classroom. It's heavy duty. I have no complaints about it.
Are your students climbing all over it anytime you walk in, and they're all throwing paper wads into it, or
no? They are actually. I do. They're very respectful of it, honestly. And I have a mini basket. They're more comfortable with the mini basket because they don't want to stand out, honestly. But along the first day, I had a student. I thought he asked me, how many putters do you have back by my desk? And I was like, well, 5. And he was like, what? You can make 5? And he was like, I said, oh, you like said, how many can I make? And so like in front of all of my students, I just like threw all 5 and happened to make all 5 of 5, and they were like, oh my gosh.
Awesome.
They were like going crazy. So it is really cool to see like, they're interested in something that I do, because math is not very interesting to the majority of my students. So being able to, it does bridge a little bit for me.
What was it like when you told them about the event? Did it just like happen to come up, or did you just sit them down one day and like, okay, well, I'm going to be gone because I'm playing. And then when you came back, like, they're like, how did it go?
So the week of Worlds was my like pre-service where there's not students and we're doing like professional development and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I got back on Sunday night. Monday was another professional development. Tuesday, the students were there. So like I had one day of sleeping in my apartment before I was teaching the next day. That day, most of them knew my school is pretty supportive, and they all shared the PDGA score and all of that to all the teachers and faculty, and they were tweeting about it. So a lot of my students came up to me. I didn't even know who they were, and they were like, "We saw your post on Twitter." It was really cool experience for me.
So your plan now after winning Am Worlds, and we'll talk about Am Worlds, like the details, in a couple seconds. But your plan is go pro. I mean, is there any other option? We've seen some players that have won Am Worlds.
Can't play Am Worlds again. No, you can't. No. Wait.
Yeah, you can. You could win. You can keep going as long as you do not take cash. You can continue to play Am Worlds and win and win and win if you so choose. Or so what is your plan? Is it to play in the FPO field? If so, are there is there touring in the future? Like what does Allie's pro disc golf career now look like?
Right. Yeah, it's a very, it kind of came up on me pretty quickly. It was one of those things where in high school, everyone's like, I want to be a pro insert sports player. I was never really that. For me, it's kind of a little more realistic. And then now it's like, oh, well, this actually could, it is actually happening quickly on top of teaching. So with teaching, there's kind of some weird things with certifications, and I'm starting my 4th year of teaching, so I still need to teach another year to finish out my 5-year certification. So I can't do like a full-blown, quit my job tour, but I have summers off. That's a big majority of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, so I can definitely hit a lot of events. But definitely moving up into the FPO in all tournaments from here is my goal. I found out a week and a half ago that I qualified for the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. I think I hit all the letters on that. I had no idea. I was like, oh wow. So I'm going to Rock Hill in October to go play that tournament with 40 of the best women in the world. Why? It's crazy. It's wild.
That's amazing.
So let's talk a little bit about Am Worlds. I mean, you won in dramatic fashion, but we'll talk about how you got there. Starting out, I mean, Am Worlds is probably the most rounds you'll play competitively in a single week. I mean, I think you start on a Wednesday, end on a Saturday. Did they do 2 rounds a day, or was it rotating? Sometimes they used to do 2-1, 2-1. It's been changed. What was the experience for you? What was the schedule like?
I believe it was Tuesday. We played 2 rounds. Wednesday 1, Thursday 1, Friday 2, Saturday a round, and final 9. So 7.5 rounds.
Do you like as they call it, the marathon golf? Do you feel like that suits your game? Are you, more people that are in shape tend to like the marathon golf, and there are people who really like to focus on one particular course and learn it, tend to enjoy the tee time, so to speak. Where do you lie on that?
I do like tee times. For me, I was fortunate enough to kind of have on the shotgun starting on 1 or 2, so it wasn't starting on hole 7. That kind of, I think most courses are kind of created to flow 1 to 18 generally, but I don't mind the two courses. I was kind of prepped and ready for that. I got there I left after Ledgestone and drove to Florida, so I had a solid 5-6 days to practice all the courses before. So I felt very ready for all of the courses. I knew what I was getting into and how I wanted to play those courses out. But I do like tee times and knowing like when I'm going to be starting, not just
So you started out round one. After the end of round one, it looked like you were in about 9th or 10th place. You go from round one. How long did it take you to feel like that you were in it? Was it a couple rounds, or did you feel like, where did you have to kick it into gear, so to speak? Because you ended up only winning by what, one stroke?
Yep.
I'm gonna spoil
Don't
it.
Spoil it. Oops.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah, I'm gonna spoil it.
Yeah, I gotta go watch the video.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Go watch the video, everybody.
right after round one, I think I shot even. I know there was some holes that I got bogeys on that I shouldn't have. And for me, there's I'm a forehand dominant player. So if there are forehand or turnover backhand right hand holes that I think I should birdie, I think there was some times that I was getting pars on them where I knew I should have gotten birdies. But I was happy with the even. I knew some girls were going to shoot the hot round, and I knew it was marathon golf. I knew there was a lot of golf to be played. So taking it hole by hole, that was really crucial for me. But I think after round two, I played much better, or not much better. I think I did score better, and I think my rating was better for round two. But I felt a little more settled into it. First round feature card. We started on like the island hole. So just those nerves of this is a huge tournament, and there's really good ladies here.
And you all four made the island.
We did.
That was
That's impressive.
That's amazing.
Funny story about that island. So I didn't know what hole we would be starting on for hole one. And then, when that came out, I think it came out at like 6 p.m. the night before. It was like, oh, hole 18. I was like, well, Mary, we got to go back because I hadn't made the island yet. I was like, well, I'm just going to, get there and wing it. And I'd been throwing a backhand, throwing like a putter, throwing a mid-range, and just like, drifting into the water. She was brave enough to retrieve those for me. But I was just like, I got to go for a forehand. I know that's going to be an odd play here, but it was the safest for me, and it definitely worked for me. Just threw a forehand and saved a 3 on the island.
You mentioned in the post the very last interview where you may or may not have been doing a winning acceptance speech. You mentioned that your game plan for that day was even par. I just want to par every. Was that your game plan the whole week, or was that something that you that evolved throughout the tournament?
I think it was definitely round one was definitely my goal to shoot a par because it's not like it sounds easier than maybe it is generally in tournaments, and I don't know that I've necessarily ever shot an even par thinking back. So that was definitely round one my goal, but I knew at the Woods, that was our rounds 3 and 4. I knew that was a lot shorter course. The longest hole on there was a 300-foot hole, so I knew I could shoot under on those two. That was really more of my kick it into gear. And I knew I played that one round. So those were two scoring differences for me. But for the final 9, I just said shoot a par. Because it was Turkey Lake Originals, which was a longer course. They were from all the long tee pads. I knew that there were some birdie opportunities, but I would have to be throwing pretty perfect drives. And I didn't want to put that extra pressure on myself. I knew if I shot a par, I would be happy with the result. And that result did happen to be, a victory on my side. But, had Julie have won that because she was shooting a hot final 9 until those last 2 holes, I would have been very happy with taking a 2nd or 3rd place. I accomplished my goals and felt very happy about my game that day.
And that's all you can do. And that's all you
exactly
have control of ultimately, and the results will be the results. But man, what a cool story.
Your first Am Worlds and you win it. I mean, not bad.
That could happen to me.
I could, yeah. Have you ever played an Am Worlds, Tyler?
No. Have you ever played an Am Worlds?
Next question.
Yep. So it can't happen to you
Cannot
anymore.
happen to me.
It's gone.
I am not legally allowed to play Worlds anymore. There's a restraining
You're gonna have to
order.
win the professional one now.
Yes. I'm working on that. Slowly. Very
Surely.
slowly. Yeah. So Tyler was hinting at some SpaceX stuff, teaching stuff. So you're a math teacher for what age? What age students?
I've got 15 to 17-year-olds. I teach geometry, algebra 2, and then a trigonometry course as well.
Okay. And you're a rocket scientist? Is that
No. Yeah, essentially, just knowing all of the math information. My students, I blow their minds with fractions all the time. Just can't believe it.
Have you ever miscounted a scorecard? Have you ever got penalized for that?
No.
No, not
All right.
not penalized for. I was like, I probably counted wrong initially and
I'm
recounted.
sure.
Yes,
Of course. All right, good.
but no.
Paul Roberts says kids love trig math. No, that's wrong. Nobody likes trig. Trig is the worst. It's the worst of all
What do
the
you do
math.
for? Let's say you've got a kid in your class, great beard, pretty charismatic, into the arts, great with words, English, etc. Sucks at math, so bad at math. Poor little guy's trying his heart out. He just can't. This is the third time through your class, and he just can't pass. Pass it. What do you do? What do you do for that kid? Let's call him. His name is Skylar in this example.
Okay.
Completely made up. How would you help him get through your class?
Oh, well. Probably get off your phone. One. Try is really the biggest thing. If my students try, they're going to be successful. I try to make it as less strenuous as possible because I am a modern day teacher and we have Google. We have calculators that are really powerful, and I don't understand why we don't teach them how to use them. So
There you go.
break out the
Preach.
calculator.
Yeah, that's what everybody should do these days. And
Yeah.
nobody is without a calculator. So
Literally.
You strike me as a person who got through a math class pretty easy. I mean, you're wearing glasses.
yeah, I mean, ultimately, I was very
That's a
bad. I was
one-to-one.
very bad at math until I think about 7th grade, and then I got glasses, and suddenly it all made sense. All of it. I mean,
Came into
like a
focus.
light switch.
Yeah,
Like a light
as it
switch.
were. Yeah.
So you win Worlds by a stroke. You hit the last putt uphill. Any nerves there? I mean, you knew it was for the win. It was. It looked like
That
maybe
was not an easy putt.
No,
that did not look
It
like
was
an easy
not.
putt.
no, because you were
wasn't.
probably
It was so
15,
short, but it
15
looked
to
like a
20
mile.
away, maybe, and then uphill to an elevated basket.
Yeah, and Julie had she had missed her putt, and she walked. While I'm walking up to mine, kind of shakes my hand. She's like, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "Oh, it is not over yet." Like, so
She's
my
trying to put the
kind of-
jinx on you.
Yeah,
no,
seriously.
she wasn't.
She's
No,
icing
no, she was such a great competitor. No, but my kind of mantra that week was intrusive thoughts and how to get rid of them. So when I threw that up shot, I was like, oh, that's 15, 20 feet out. That's the intrusive thought. That's kind of negative. And immediately I just backed it up with any 4 lyrics I could think of. So just, any song, and I would just repeat those lyrics while walking up so that I just
What was
walked
it?
up to my...
Yeah. You have to tell us what it was.
Come
now.
on.
Yeah. Well, I have like a disc golf playlist that is just has like Katy Perry Swish Swish because it's another one in the basket. So I just say another one in the basket over and over again, or like Alexander Hamilton from the musical.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
There you
gonna
go.
throw away my shot. So just repeating those things over and over again, and so I'd walk up to my disc and it's just like, oh. I'm just putting, and I would just immediately go with no thought, no negative thought. It was all just something clear and fresh. That really helped my game the entire week. That helps me put that last putt
Write
in the
this
basket.
down.
Everybody,
Folks.
everyone make note.
Yeah.
Katy
Katy Perry will help you win a world title.
Yes.
Have you ever your playlist? Is it through Spotify? Is it locally downloaded? How are you streaming that? Is that a playlist you can share with the world?
It could be. Yes, that's probably a question for Mary. Mary has been usually like my media, music person. I'm kind of on my own right now. She's in Southern Illinois, but I think it's Apple Music or it's on Spotify, one of the two. So it might be accessible. You can get that list out.
I'm just saying, yeah, you might want to share that world championship list that you have there.
Sell it. Don't just give that away. People will pay
Tyler,
good money for that.
The awful capitalist, just trying to make a
yeah, exactly.
Marketing.
After you win Worlds, how quickly do the phone calls come from first family and second sponsors? I mean, they've got to be knocking down your door for sponsorship, right?
Meh. So immediately for like all of my friends, family, people I didn't even know immediately calling me. It was kind of a whirlwind. They like whisked me away and like took me to go take pictures on a golf cart. So I was like just by myself after winning as well. So like I win and I'm like get my picture taken and just like in a daze without my phone. I think Mary had my phone, so she's contacting everyone for me. It was wild. And then I really haven't had, I've had maybe one company talk to me about perhaps throwing for them, but no one else really has reached out to me.
That's garbage. Everybody should reach out to you. What are you currently throwing? What's in your bag? What you talked about the Sidewinder earlier, and that was kind of your go-to forehand disc. But what else are you throwing these days that helped you win the Amateur World Championships?
It was a majority of Innova and dynamic discs, or not dynamic. I've got a few dynamic, but Innova and Discmania. I'm looking at my stack right now. Mako 3s, that was my mid-range go-to. FDs for my kind of fairway drivers, Sidewinders, Wraiths. Really just kind of discs that were easy for me to get during COVID. With the pandemic shutdown and the high demand, low supply, I felt that just my local stores really only had like the basic brands, and that was what I fell into. I've currently got some other discs in my bag. I do have the DJI Rift in there now. I've been looking at the putters. The steadies are almost, for me, a better fit than the Wizard that I was throwing. I was putting with Wizards. There you go,
Tyler, we'll charge you for product placement. Sorry.
I'm just trying to get like as many logos into the shot as I can at this point.
Right.
You need a backdrop. I mean, you didn't want to do it right, Tyler. I mean,
oh yeah, with all the DGA stuff. All right, sorry.
Right.
What were you saying?
But I really like the steady. It's shallower than the Wizard in terms of from the flight plate to the edge of the disc, which I have smaller hands. I actually went out today to Bad Rock, and I missed only one putt on the front nine, which was wild. So,
wow,
I'm
with
really
steadies?
digging it. Yeah, which I've only been using for a few weeks.
Did you get
now.
one of the 2021s, or did you have a 2020?
I've got I think it's a 21 Matt Bell. Yep, and then just I think a stock stamp. But
this one just came in for me today. I've got it on my desk.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 2007 Am Worlds DGA disc. I think it might be a Squall it's sitting behind me. I moved into this new house, and now I'm trying to organize all my discs. They've just been in these. Mine's a Sparkle Squall. So.
Yes.
So is this?
Is that? Oh, I couldn't tell at first. Yeah, it is. Look at that. Yeah. I think it might have been the first Sparkle discs that were created in 2007.
Yeah, I could
That's
see
when
that.
Sparkles were created, actually, in general.
Yeah, when Sparkles were created in general. Right.
Yeah, and now so I've got stacks of discs now, all sorted by manufacturer. I think is what I'm going to do. I don't know how to. Does anyone know? How do you guys organize your discs, Allie? How many discs do you have right now, and how do you organize them?
I built like a PVC rack, and they're just organized by, I guess, style of disc: putters, mid ranges, fairways, by numbers, stabilities.
See, and Tyler, how do you organize your discs? I'm sure you have thousands of them working for DGA.
Yeah,
Right, I organize mine by manufacturer.
So it's just one pick.
And none of them are together. No, they're not all together. They're just, but the only discs I have are DGA. So that you could say, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
You're no help, Tyler, because I don't know.
I've been wondering this actually, because I literally do have boxes of them just laying around, and I've been thinking, man, it'd be cool to have like a shelf behind with them displayed, or like, I don't know, maybe hanging. I've actually got one hanging.
Just like
out of
like a
frame
mobile, just kind of like just dangling there,
Okay,
spinning
Let me
on a
zoom out.
string. Oh, whoa.
Can
Yeah,
you
like that.
see? Can you see that?
I can, yeah. So I
It
wasn't
is in
far
fact
off.
a mobile.
And I was thinking, like, what if you did 100 of those? Just behind. Be like a little modern art thing. All right, that's my idea.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work well for storage because I have
No.
a couple hundred
No.
discs. So
Yeah.
people are saying by speed, mold, color. I don't know. I'll figure it out at some point. I've been buying Home Depot out of bins because I'm going to put them all in like bins that fit. So every Home Depot I go into, I buy as many of the specific 30-gallon bins that I can that are skinny and long, and I'm going to try to organize them. I don't know. I'm still at a
And they
loss
see you
here.
coming. They're
They
like,
do.
oh, this freaking guy.
Uh-oh.
Like, let's seriously, the
He's
bin-
here to
the-
get
it's
our
the-
bin.
It's the freaking bin.
Carl,
guy.
do we have any more bins in the back? That guy's coming to get more bins.
So, Allie, what does the disc golf future look like for you? Are you're done with Ultimate now and you're focused strictly on disc golf? Is that kind of that's the plan? You've given up the fast, high paced, world of
Yes.
Ultimate discs, and now you're kind of just like just cruising along the fairway, enjoying the trees.
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly right. It's I was I'm an aggressive person, and Ultimate requires an aggressive personality, and it can bring out some ugly sides. And I definitely had been spirit fouled. It's kind of like disc golf in terms of we self-officiate, and when you do not play by spirit of the game, that's kind of like the ultimate foul, and I've received one. So, just definitely disc golf has helped me kind of calm down and relax and enjoy the sport, and not be like frustrated and angry when I play the sport. And well, I guess, frustrated and angry if I don't throw well, but not like towards other people.
It's usually not anybody else's fault when you throw a poor shot. It's usually your own fault.
Exactly.
There's no one to blame but yourself there.
That's a funny side of you, though, that obviously we haven't seen, because you're so like just bubbly and friendly and warm, and
Yeah.
you're you got a really quick wit. We laughed a lot the other day playing out at Waterworks, and so the thought of you just like absolutely shredding somebody out on the ultimate field or something, just like in their faces, they're on the ground, like, try that crap again. And
Yeah. Like hat backwards, just like, yeah, screaming and cussing. Yeah. So,
that's epic.
I'm not gonna make.
Don't
her
do
upset.
that, kids.
I'm not gonna make
It's
her
not.
upset.
I don't want to.
I don't want to make.
Yeah,
her upset
exactly.
at all. So wow. I don't even know. You've been playing for
I
so
have a
little
question.
time, and you've been winning, so there's no reason to get frustrated, except for Ledgestone, clearly. And now you move
Yeah.
in. Are you going to be able to deal with that sort of frustration in the open field? Because I have to assume, and maybe I'm wrong, that you're not going to step into the open field and think that you're just going to be winning for the next year or two. I mean, there's the FPO field is pretty strong, especially in Kansas City, where we've got some of the really, like I said, it's got a very strong FPO, or not just FPO, very strong women's environment. I believe that Ladies of the Chains podcast is kind of out of that area. One of my favorites. I sub and listen. Elizabeth, and
yes.
a couple of the other women on there.
Yes.
So what's are you gonna be able to handle that not winning?
Right. So I was talking with Mary about like, just getting it, like qualifying or getting invited to the Throw Pink, like just wild, beyond anything I had ever dreamed of in terms of disc golf dreams. And I'm full well knowing I'm not going to get first place there. Like, I'm just so excited to like learn from women who have played the sport for so long and are so good. I think being in the amateur was a little bit of like, I don't really know what the competition is. It kind of varies from state to state, location to location, but like in the FPO, it's definitely always there and kind of aware of that. So I'm excited to like have growing, be able to grow into that field.
Who are your current, disc golf heroines or people that you look up to and like, man, if I could throw a backhand like that, or, I'm really working on this part of my game right now, or just form notwithstanding, who are the people that you're just like, man, she's got such a great game, and like that would be one of my goals, or I'd love to play if I could be on a card with so and so, that would be the dream.
I would like Rebecca Cox really is in my mind. I watched when I was playing for the DDO, I watched coverage of courses before I could get out there, and I think it was like Rebecca, Paige, Kona, and I want to say maybe Kat was that was the card. And so like seeing her then and then seeing her now and like listening to how she's like really tried to change her, her form in different things to better herself, and she knows her capabilities and where she can be, and what she does for like a support of the FPO and just growing the sport in general. I think she is a very respectable person in disc golf, and I would love to be on a card with her. And she seems like a great time, of course.
She's hilarious as well. She is incredibly witty and has a really deadpan delivery and is really funny.
Of course, like any Juliana Korver, Lane King, any in the 2000s era of disc golf, and they're still just crushing it. And to learn some history of like, MVP used to be called Vibram Open and what it, just like things like that, to learn more of the history. Or Des Redding, I played with, and now I feel terrible that I'm forgetting her name. Shoot. Well, it's gonna come to me later, but I play with, and she was telling me that she's like, oh, you remind me so much of Des. And I was like, that is like the biggest compliment. And I don't even, I've never even met her. So definitely put them on that list as well.
Yeah, Des is phenomenal for the game and everything she's done as far as edge and working with the PDGA now. I've known Des for a long time, and Jay, of course, but you can't go wrong with 4-time world champ. Gosh, I forget now if she's 3 or 4, but either way, it's there's a lot, and she's great for the sport in general. So if you were to model your game after somebody, no problem there.
Hey, is this Mary? Is this the Mary in the chat?
She is Mary Cannon. She's talking about being
the Mary.
Allie already has a media manager. Some players don't even have managers. Allie has a media manager. I mean, it's just Spotify, but we'll move up. Eventually, it'll be YouTube.
It's media. Yeah, somebody's got to manage it.
Oh, I did. Tavish Cardiff. I just remembered her name. She was the one telling me of Des, so had to get that in there.
Excellent.
Here's a good question from earlier. What courses on the Pro Tour would you want to play the most? Do you prefer wooded technical courses or open kind of bomber type styles?
I would love to play Jonesboro on the pro side because I really enjoyed the AM side of it, and I do. I like to throw far, so I do like a bomber course, but I also like to hit lines as well. I wouldn't say I would go for like a super wooded. Obviously, MVP Maple Hill that's always a dream to play there, and that's a very wooded course. I would love to play like any of Ledgestone's FPO, MPO courses. That would be sweet. Eureka Gold, or what was it? Eureka Black? They changed the color? I don't remember.
What did you play?
Northwood Black,
That's what it was.
Blue, and Eureka. I think it's just Eureka. I don't
Eureka.
Think that one has,
okay.
I don't think that one has a color designation.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't play those when you did Ledgestone on the AM side?
No, we played Camp Kearney, Washington, Laura Bradley Park, and then Washington Park to finish.
Well, you would have won it if you were at Eureka Lake, you know, in Northwoods, obviously.
Maybe.
Okay, clearly. What is
Oh,
your what type of
100%.
distance are you throwing right now? Forehand and backhand.
Backhand off the tee. If we're just throwing flat out straight, I think I'm hitting 350 pretty consistently and accurately with with a lightweight wraith, like a 150.
I can vouch
Forehand.
for that. Easy,
Forehand.
easy 350, by the way. Easy.
Okay. Forehand, I'd say at least 300 on a good flat release. I don't necessarily throw a flex forehand very much. That would probably get me some more distance, but usually I'm more of a straight at it to finishing right-handed for me. So about 300, 320. I really enjoy throwing though, like a technical forehand putter or a mid-range. That's kind of my favorite shot to throw. I like to throw it on an Anheuser, on a Heiser flat. Making it look like a backhand is really fun to me.
I don't know how
I
anyone
think
throws an
it's
Anheuser forehand. It boggles me
Well-
because every time I try, but then like the ground gets in the way. So
That's every shot, though, huh?
just
The-
just Anheuser forehands.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. But are you familiar with hole one at Waterworks?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a pretty massive downhill slope, and one of the first shots that I ever saw Allie throw was with an undertow, and the one that I handed her was really lightweight and really flippy. And watching her adapt to just like this is like this disc, but now imagine that even flippier, and she's the math teacher. She's crunching it all the numbers and everything. And watching her throw that downhill on this crazy Anheuser, and it pulls all the way up and over and then into a nice flex and then is like 200 feet past the basket, So terrible shot because,
Right.
You weren't parked, but it was it was pretty immediately like, okay, you can tell that Allie's used to, you know, determining the stability of a disc and putting all the factors together in terms of nose angle, its stability, what angle of hyzer release, how much power she puts on it, etc.
Yeah, when I learned there was numbers to the sport, I was like, what?
Numbers?
Like, this is
I
awesome.
love numbers.
Right. And I was like, I mean, I know all flight numbers are different because a pipeline in the SP versus the PL is going to be a little bit different. But I was like, well, that is something that I can figure out and know. Same with like reading the wind and nose angle. Yeah, those are all variables I can learn and understand, not control, but to the best of my ability control. And that I feel makes me a better player. And like the DGA discs that I've been throwing and trying out, I'm like, I'm not as frustrated as the first time I was picking up a disc that I've never thrown before, because I'm like, oh, I should relatively know what this is going to do based on these numbers and how kind of it feels in my hand, and throw it 3 times and like, okay, figured it out. It's enjoyable for me.
That's the skill set that you have that I would probably attribute your rise to the top, in such a short amount of time. In just a year really of competition, and you're already competing at such a high level. And I would put that straight under the Allie is so analytical, where if you miss a shot too, I'm guessing you're the person who's like, I want to replay that shot over and over in my head just as many times as the one that went perfect and figure out why was it bad? How can I correct for next time?
Yes. Exactly. And that's why putting can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Putting,
why it's like
yeah.
right now is just a stepping stone, into the next phase of your career. But that particular skill set is just going to keep you trending upward, I feel like, at such a high rate. I'm really, really excited to watch your career.
Would you say putting is the thing you need to work on the most, or is there other aspects of your game? Is it approaching? Is it where are your self-proclaimed weak spots?
My number one obvious one that I've been saying for the last year is my run up, my up shots. They're all standstill. I'm very aware of foot faulting and not wanting to do that. So I don't even risk it. So that's going to, take some power and some angles out of my arsenal on those upshots. But I'm very comfortable with a standstill throw because of ultimate as well. I think that is also I need to break that habit of, okay, it's okay to do a little shuffle step. Like off the tee, no problem. I understand that. But something about getting close to the disc and foot faulting. I haven't, gone out into a field and just practiced it 100 times yet. And I'm aware that that's something I need to do. But for the amount of tournaments I was playing this year, I was like, that's something I can do in my off time. Putting is, always something I think I can work on. I sell fireworks in the summer, so spending time when we've got the store set up putting was very helpful. I played soccer growing up, so my legs were more strong than my arms, and so I don't feel as confident in my strength with with a push putt. And the spin for me felt a little. There's more variables and missing points, so I kind of have a combination of a spin and a spin and a push that I've kind of tried to work on. That makes me feel confident within 25 feet, and I think I've kind of got that down right now.
Well, I think, you can look at anyone in the field for almost any of the women's game, and I think if you can be confident or solid inside of 30 feet, you're going to be in the cash. Because we've seen on the FPO side a lot of women who are phenomenal on the fairway and still have problems inside of the circle. And so I think that if you can even be, average for an FPO field on the fairway, but be really good in the circle, you're going to make up those strokes very quickly. We've seen it with Lisa Fakis, and I'm not insulting anyone's driving. I'm just saying good putters. But Lisa Fakis, Missy Gannon, and just they are models for the FPO and how well you can do with a good putter.
Right, exactly.
In the chat, my wife has just chimed in to say good night and that she loves you, JVD.
Good night, Molly.
So this is awkward.
We've been meaning to tell you that we're pen pals. That's
this
it.
is okay.
Close friends.
I thought that was going. Yeah.
We're
the
besties,
best friend
basically.
zone.
We're besties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's all. You don't need to worry.
Schwebe's got the Brian Schweberger most winningest male in disc golf is in the chat, and he's got the what do you call it when you put the words together?
The smush putt.
Portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
Smush. It's a spoosh putt.
Yeah, there's a few players that have done that. What they call the smoosh putt, where they have kind of a general, almost like a pendulum swing with their arm, and at the very end it's just a little pop or just a little bit of a spin, as opposed to the true spin putt that usually comes from a belly or the chest that pushes straight out, which is more my style because that's the age I grew up in. It wasn't until really, I think, Cam Todd really kind of, maybe it was Felberg. They'll argue over it, I'm sure, forever. And Schwebe would know. Kind of came up with more of a pop putt where it was more of a pendulum swing like that. And Allie, if it makes you feel better, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from Ken Climo, million-time world champion, about standstill. Right. He said, if you're inside of 200 feet, you shouldn't be moving anyway. So,
perfect.
That's what you got to do. So.
Allie's putt reminds me a lot of Ricky Wysocki's actually, and Allie uses your.
Really?
No, and I haven't said this to you, but I thought that when we played because you're very tall and you use that to your advantage. And there's a couple tall people that I've known that putt like I do, just kind of like Johnny was saying, like in the chest and out. And I'm like, no, like use this. You've been given an amazing gift, and you do such a good job of generating, you've got the pendulum coming down, but you generate so much power and then still pop it. But your line is just so aided by that long pendulum, back and follow through that you do.
How tall are you, Allie?
5'10" and a half. maybe.
I was just looking at the KC Wide Open field for FPO, and I saw you're playing with Nova, who is 6'4", and I was like,
6'4".
that's gonna be a tall card, but
Tall card.
yeah.
Yep.
Casey Kincaid, and who we've mentioned on the broadcast before, and I don't know if we've talked about Caitlin Belty or not. So
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. I have not met her
out
before.
of Oklahoma somewhere. Yeah, the KC Wide Open is a very fun event. Do you know what courses you're playing for the KC Wide Open?
I believe Friday is Wilbur Young, Saturday Waterworks, Sunday Bad Rock Creek. I do believe.
I have one tip for the KC Wide Open. It is don't go to the wrong course, as I did one.
Yeah.
Solid.
That's I mean,
That's good advice.
learn which course you're going to, because otherwise you'll be driving across town and at 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning, hoping you make your tee time. And if you're lucky, you walk up as they're calling your name. Just a word of advice.
Wow.
Learn where your tees. Learn which course
Okay,
you're
now
playing
back
on
then,
which day.
but you had the MapQuest printed out like in the passenger side, and like your printer run out of ink, so it was like black and white.
Just
You're trying
faded.
to
It's like a gray. It's
flip
like half
to
cut
page
off.
3. Yeah, you're like, I can't follow these and drive at the same time.
I don't even want to. What does anyone know what year this KC Wide Open is? 39th. I'm sorry, I looked at it here. 39th. Okay, so I think I played in the 30th and the 15th. I think, I believe, something like that. 20th and 30th maybe I played in. So that's old. So Allie, what are you looking for in a sponsor? Now you are the AM World Champion. Like I said, we're trying to drum up support for you as far as a potential sponsor, Tyler. What are you looking for in a sponsor right now? Because you said you can't really go on full-time tour. Are you looking for that 10-year, $10 million deal, or
Listen,
or are you going to settle
I'm ready
for
to
something a
lock
little
this.
less?
I'm ready to make this deal right now. Okay,
Oh.
I got a GMC Quake and $20. Oh yeah.
Just trying to get.
I wish we had coordinated
Figured it
and you
out that
actually
time.
had it. If you actually had another one there at your house,
that would've been
could actually
cool.
pull it up.
That's some Penn and Teller
Yeah.
stuff right there. Be careful.
Well, yeah, I mean, DJ and I have been chatting, and I feel already very supported. Tyler being in Kansas City is crazy awesome. Really just the being wanted, if that is they're the only ones that have reached out to me, so they kind of have that number one spot for me right now. I had never thrown DGA plastic, but I am really enjoying it. And just apart from that, I am a teacher, so having the community is really big for me. Like have my administrators and the support of all of them is really important. So carrying that into disc golf as well. And somebody may say oh, DGA, I haven't really heard of them as a company. What about Innova? Or why don't you hold out for this, that, and the other? But it's I can't go full tour. And so, any company's probably looking to give a relative similar contract, I'm assuming. They haven't reached out to me. So, I can't even, I'm not even giving them really thoughts because they're not giving me a thought, apparently. So I want to go somewhere where I'm wanted and supported, and I already kind of feel that way towards DGA. But I can't really necessarily make a decision. I am going to the Throw Pink, and so I don't want to necessarily sign and have a brand new bag and kind of throwing something brand new for only a month. That sounds a little bit silly. I don't want to completely flounder, in front of all those FPO women, but that's definitely kind of my mindset right now. I'm really am feeling supported, and Kelly G, reaching out just to want to communicate and talk is really, that goes a long way for me. So
it is, there's something to be said about a company that will reach out to you, and especially if others are currently not, I would say. And
right.
I mean, it's
Their loss. Hey, and
100%.
actually, as the official co-host and speaking
Yes.
for Terry Miller and Johnny V, and we here at Smashbox strongly support DGA disc golf.
Always have.
Even to the point of saying that most of the other companies are pretty much garbage. That is the official word of Smashbox TV, and DGA is the best forever. Amen. And we think that you should strongly consider their offer. All right, that's Terry Miller and Johnny Van Der. He's gone. Terry's like twitching right now, and he doesn't know why. He's in a hotel room somewhere, and he's like, "Wait, what's happening? Someone's speaking for my podcast."
Smashbox TV has always been very friendly with all the manufacturers. We do have a soft spot for DGA because of Mr. Scott Kesey, who is a good friend of ours and have spent many a night having fun with back in the day on the road. And so DGA, and obviously with Steady Ed. I mean, I met Steady Ed twice. I've got a disc somewhere in one of my bags that's got a Steady Ed signature on it. And you know, some of my most fun memories are actually in Kansas City with a blowfly, throwing it around at Am Worlds in a parking lot, not worrying that you're going to hit a car because it's a blowfly, so that you're not going to do any damage. So, lot of fun. Love DGA for sure. So Allie, do you have any sponsors right now? Any local sponsors or anything like that? Or would you like to take a few minutes to thank your sponsors after your Am Worlds win?
Sure. I only have one sponsored. So after winning the Midwest Amateur Championship here in Kansas City, I have a sponsorship with Underpar. It's really just for entry fees for FPO in the future.
Scott Reek?
I would shout out Scott Reek. He's the man.
Former Wisconsin
setting
boy.
up. Yep. And really just shout out to Kansas City Disc Golf. They've showed me so much support in my humble 3 years of playing disc golf and 1 year of competing. Like, really on that last hole, I can't even express. I'm a numbers person, but so words are hard, but I can't express. Like, I thought about, every single person that has reached out to me or ever talked to me about disc golf in the Kansas City community, and like their names just went through my head, and like they really helped me win that. Like, their support and like love for me, even though they don't necessarily know me all that well, is just amazing and awesome. So just shout out to all of them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We look forward to being able to have you on way more often. I mean, we tend to bring winners on, and based on your record so far, I mean, you've got a pretty good chance. What is, like, if you gave yourself a timetable, like, I'd like to be competing at big events in the FPO field in X amount of time, like competing with the likes of Kona, Page, Cat. Do you have a timetable for that? Are you looking at, like, I think I can get there in a year or 2 years or 6 months? Like, what are your thoughts there?
I think I'll definitely be able to have like a better gauge of that. My parents, they look at my AM scores like Jonesboro, right? They're like, well, you shot this, that, and the other, and that would have compared to this in the FPO. And I'm like, well, the courses are not the same. Competition's not, you can't compare apples and oranges here. So I think, after playing this tournament here in October, that's going to give me a great kind of gauge of where am I? Am I 25th? Am I in 40th place? Like, I have no idea where I'm going to kind of compete with these women. But I would love to give a tour a try next year. Like I said, I have to teach 5 years to be able to get a leave of absence to retirement and certifications, all that stuff with schooling, with teaching school. So I don't want to just kind of ruin all of that, because I can always teach when I'm 40, 50, but I can't necessarily play. Maybe, but not necessarily could play my top level of disc golf at any age. So now would kind of be ideal to get that ball rolling. So I am looking to go, hit as many Disc Golf Pro Tour events in the summer that I can, and then maybe the next year find myself on tour. We'll see. I think I I have the drive and the work ethic to be able to do that. It'll just be about time, and can I take the time off work and take that leap of faith and just go for it.
That sounds great. And
yeah.
my other tip for Kansas City, go for Nova's knees. If you take out her knees, it's a lot easier to win. She's tall.
Smart.
I mean, that's the way you do it. That's the way you take. She's got 10 points on you ratings, but honestly, one leg. That's all you need to take out, and you'll be fine.
One leg. That's it.
That's it. It's like
Allie, you're gonna have to go back through and watch this once the broadcast is republished and read the chat, because there's so much love flowing in from Elizabeth and Revel Disc Golf, and a bunch of other people are saying incredibly sweet things. But yeah, everybody's an Allie fan.
Anna Hare as well on here.
Thank you. Oh, Anna.
And yep, you've got yourself a nice fan base already. So I hopefully you can always tell when we have guests on based on the chat. Usually a lot of, when we bring on some of the newer faces that haven't necessarily been on, the type of person they are based on the chat that we see. If we get a lot of locals that are cheering them on, it always makes me feel better, because I think, all right, that's somebody who, if the community rallies behind them, they're probably a good person. There are some people we have on that the chat doesn't talk about, and at that point you kind of look and you go, okay, I get to.
Right. They're like, this girl owes me money.
I think she has a bookie. I'm not sure. So, all right, Anna. I was just reading Anna Hare's name.
Right.
All right, Allie. Thank you very much for joining us on Smashbox. Tyler and I are going to take over the show a little bit and talk about the other events that happened this particular weekend. I heard that there was some event over on the East Coast that we need to talk about.
Awesome.
So
yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a blast.
All right. Thanks a lot, Allie.
Thanks, Allie.
Good night.
Good night. Allie Smith, everybody. Go out, find a way to support her if you can.
Let me put that video back in the chat. Because the PDGA did great coverage of...
They did do some really great coverage.
I think round one, the semis, and the finals, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't know. Was that disc... I don't know who was covering. Disc Golf Bra or...
Fox? No. It was... gosh, I'm going to butcher it, but it was like Fox Ridge. You'll see the...
was it Fox
something
Ridge? Okay.
Productions. I don't know if it was like... It's something with a Fox, but go check out this link I just dropped in the chat. You'll be able to get all the other videos they've put out.
Nova asks who disturbs her slumber. Nova, I'm just giving tips to Allie on how to beat you. That's all. I'm just saying go for your knees.
Like literally, I was gonna say literally, by the way, not just how to win. Like it's pretty violent stuff. It's concerning.
I mean, I don't doubt that Nova can hold her own. So she's 6'4". I mean, she's got the reach, if anything.
That's a weird justification for physical violence, JVD. But I mean, whatever. It's okay to attack people if they feel like they can hold their own.
Yeah,
kids.
Yeah. I mean, I would never attack a child.
Oh, unless you felt,
yeah. I mean, if it was a big kid, then maybe.
You felt like it could really defend itself, and then absolutely, I would attack that child.
Point, game on, my friend, game on.
Again, this is not the official belief of Smashbox LLC or any of its affiliates.
Oh, geez. All right, Tyler, did you watch the MVP Open?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. So you like one eye, like just kind of it's a yes and no answer?
I watched it for a second and then oh my gosh, and then I watched it again and then
to be fair, I think that's kind of how most people watched it. It wasn't necessarily the cleanest of broadcasts, knowing the way MVP is. So it's almost like everybody got to watch it with slight intoxication. So it's
I think Jomez should be doing live. Personally,
that's what I hear. I hear
that's what I was spamming in the chat the whole time.
I'm sure they appreciate that so much.
It wasn't my real account, but yeah. I've actually been pretty, like, even more than full-time working on our ads for the upcoming GMC coverage.
Oh, yeah, we've got that coming up on Thursday. It's a 4-day event, split broadcast, so the women will be in the morning, the men in the afternoon at GMC. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a lot of work.
Yes, I can imagine. It has been a lot of work even just for me to get our ad set done, but I am very proud of it. Hopefully all of you tune in We've got a handful of commercials to spice up the downtime between watching the action. But I have been about all day, every day, even a lot over this weekend, and finally got those set off today and watched some of MVP for the first time today. I tuned in for maybe 20 minutes at the end of the MPO coverage, but overall was very MIA for this particular event.
It was exciting. Honestly, it was a really good battle over at Maple Hill, everybody's favorite course, top 5 course in the world probably. Almost, you can ask any player, and if they have to rattle off 3 courses, this is always one of the courses on their list. Taking home the win was Wisconsin native Adam Hammes. He beat out Ricky Wysocki and Eagle McMahon by 3 strokes. Eagle went into that round, I think, with a 4-stroke lead, and I believe it was within it was like 4 holes. Eagle was like down, or 5 holes. Eagle was down. He struggled mightily on that final round, not able to find the groove that got him there the first 2 rounds, where he shot like a 9 or an 8 and a 9, and then the final round he came out with a 2. So he struggled quite a bit, but Hammes took the opportunity, had a phenomenal front 9 going 7 under par, and then just a very solid back 9. The back 9 at Maple is very difficult. It's much more difficult to score on than the front 9. So if you got to get them, you got to get your strokes in the front 9 in order to maintain. And Adam, I think, went 2 under on the back, just enough to be able to beat the rest of the field by 3 strokes. So there was by hole 17, once he threw 17 and got it in the fairway, everybody knew it was over.
That's where I started watching, actually, was the hole 17, and Eagle had such a great shot, and then it ended up in the tree. Pitch out.
I mean, to be fair, was it a great shot if he threw it? I mean, he pretty much squared that tree up. I mean, he at that point.
All right, Eagle sucks. You changed my mind. It's all or nothing.
I mean, that's the way disc golf is. All or nothing. You're either the greatest or you're the worst. You're either the GOAT or what's the opposite of the GOAT? What would be
the GOAT's food?
GOAT's food.
The grass. You're either the GOAT or you're the grass.
The GOAT or the grass.
Dude, right. Somebody write that down. That needs to be a saying. Some days you're the GOAT. Some days you're the grass.
Quote Tyler Berkeley. Put it on a poster.
An eagle was the grass. Some days you're the eagle, and some days you're the worm. Do eagles eat worms? I'll work on these on my own time. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you need to work on this, because I don't believe I'm sure an eagle would eat a worm if they had a choice, but usually I think they go after smaller prey like rabbits and squirrels and stuff like that. But
hamsters.
Yeah, I'm sure they would eat a hamster. So Adam Hammes takes home the victory. 4th place, Matt Bell, who kind of was sneakily
Bell
not covered. Yeah, sadly.
Hang on.
He shot a 6 down. He was on the chase card for the second round. After the second round, so the final round he was on the chase card, and ultimately, really, we didn't see a lot of his shots. He was never truly in contention to make the podium. So unless he had a really great shot. So when I looked at the results on, I think it was Monday morning, I was like, oh, wow, Matt Bell is, he's a very solid player, especially on the East Coast, great putter. But it kind of shocked me that he had taken 4th place, because I didn't see him, as opposed to Calvin, who on the final round got the ace. So we got to show that, which was great. And then Matty O, who is just a living highlight reel, Roll Tide.
Right.
So Matt Bell kind of snuck up on everybody's radar there. 7th place, Andrew Marwood, who's having a phenomenal run of events right now. All these wooded courses. He's a steal if you're looking at fantasy scoring, as I always am. 7th place, Joel Freeman had a rough afternoon, final day. Thomas Gilbert shot a 10 down. Was that possibly tying the course record out there with a new course? It was a 10 or an 11, and tied with Ben Calloway in the MPO field. Tyler, do you know who won the FPO?
Haley King.
No.
Let me guess again. Missy Gannon.
No.
I'm very good at this.
You've got this down. No, Haley
Am I
King took
close?
4th place. No, you're not.
Who took third place?
Paige Pierce.
Paige Pierce. Okay. This is narrowing it down. That's going to be Katrina Allen
She won.
in
She did.
second place.
No,
Oh, okay.
Katrina won.
Who got second?
Kona Star Panis.
Oh,
So-
Kona.
Yeah, so Kona. So Kat, 5 strokes she bested the field by over Kona, and Kat just came out and performed solid. 3 solid rounds. She shot she came out of the gate shooting an even, which put her in second place. Technically, I think tied for second with Missy Gannon. Her second round was a 3 under, which was the best in the field.
Man,
So
that's
it's
insane.
hard to beat someone when they're the best in the field.
Well, geez, can you imagine shooting 3 under
No,
at Maple Hill?
No,
That's
no,
insanity.
I can't- I
That is
can't.
so good.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine it. I truly can't.
That's
It's
crazy.
beyond my capabilities, more likely. And then the final round, she was able to coast in with the best score of that round as well, a 1 under par. I see a couple evens. I don't see anyone that shot better than 1 under. So yeah, so she had she tied Heather Young at a 1 under. Haley King, unfortunately, who was, her next closest competitor, was basically kind of out of it by hole 9. Haley had a really rough stretch in the front 9, and then the back 9 just kind of felt like gave up, honestly, the way she was playing. And that might just be body language. That might be whatever. She didn't appear to be putting a lot of effort into many of her throws. Kona taking second. It's her best showing in quite a few events. So congratulations to Kona on shooting.
Way to go, Kona.
Yeah, second place. But I'm sorry. I think I mistaken that. I think I said that it was a 5-stroke victory when actually that was by round. Kat had a 7-stroke victory.
Even more.
Yes, even more. So I'm sorry if I messed that up. If anyone caught that, I didn't see it on the board. I truly just looked, and I can do math. Allie, I need some help. So 7-stroke victory over Kona Star Panis, 8 strokes over Paige Pierce, Haley King at a +7, 5th place. A name we don't talk about very often on the Pro Tour, but is a very good local, which is Tyler Borth, tied with Missy Gannon for 5th place. So congratulations to our FPO winner, Katrina Allen. Did you get to watch the pond dive?
No.
Did you hang around for the end? The end of Maple Hill?
I watched the leading up to the event. I think DGN or DGPT posted like the last 10 years pond dives or something.
There was a few of them
There
in
was-
there. Yeah, some classics. If
Yeah.
you're going, Tyler, now you have to. You just win Maple Hill. You win MVP. You win Vibram. Whatever
Okay.
it's called this year.
Hang on. Let me get there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. And now your
I'm
job
there.
is to dive into the pond. How are you going
Mm-hmm.
in? What is your form? What is your technique to go into the pond?
I'm doing a backflip into the pond all day long, twice on Sunday, which it was. So I would do a backflip into the pond and swim out, and then do another backflip into the pond.
I would backflip out of the pond. That's just me.
Holy crap. That's amazing.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You're like, I've been doing this a long time, son. We've learned a few tricks with the old pond dive.
Watch this. No, I think I'm going. I think I'm going cannonball. I think that's my choice. I think I go
You
cannonball.
would.
Ricky is. We saw Ricky do a front flip. This Adam went standard dive. He dove head first in.
Oh.
Kat went feet first with nose plugged, hand in the air, which is a good classic move. So
Yeah. Right.
yeah, so that's that's our Maple Hill event, the MVP Open. I'm so old, I have a hard time not calling it the Maple Hill Open. I'm almost calling it the MSDGC, as I'm so old. So kids, ask your parents
Wait,
what a
isn't
DVD is.
MSG something that's not good for your body?
I don't think MSG is bad for your body. It's just like a salt. It's fine. I mean, in moderation. It's tasty.
Speaking of assault, we were joking about everything we said about kids earlier. Just don't hold that against Smashbox. We do not intend on attacking any small. No, No, we don't. Even if they look strong.
I don't know what the future holds. What what if a kid attacks me? Do I have the right to attack it back? I mean,
how many 5-year-olds? Listen, let's save that for the after show.
We can save it for the after show. Yeah. Geez. Yeah. See, Benjamin Soren says MSG is just fine. It is. It's good. It's tasty too. You know, it's what a. Anyway, what
Matt Bell? Speaking of the Maple Hill,
talk about your sponsored player. Please feel free.
Because is he? Oh my gosh, gosh.
Who knew?
Thank you so much. I'm actually a really bad marketing manager. I forget. I'm just a fan of him, so I was going to talk about him because we're talking about Maple Hill. But yeah, no, he does happen to be on Team DGA. Matt Bill was 100% on the last day. I was checking out his stats. He was 100% in Circle 1 and Circle 2. With several putts of each, by the way. You know, sometimes that stat can be a little padded if you only have like one Circle 2 putt or something. But Matt Bell is like freakishly good at putting.
He is.
Here's the thing. Everybody is always talking about Matt Bell's putting, and they're still not talking about it enough. Like, that's the thing everyone's saying, and nobody's talking about it enough because it is like seriously out of this world uncanny how close or in the basket he is from anywhere inside of 100 feet, regardless of the impediments. I've spent several days with him now filming, and I've never filmed anybody else where I'm like, well, just this story sums the whole thing up. We're at Pinto Lake in Santa Cruz around the Masters Cup, and I'm filming his in the bag. I'm like, hey, I need to get you making like a big putt. Let's walk down to this basket. He's like, where do you want? I'm like, I don't know, maybe like 70 or something. And he's like, yeah, cool. And so I just go down to the pin, and he's like, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm rolling. Drains it. First putt. And he's like, do you want me to make more? And I'm like, dude, we're good.
All day.
Like, I've got it.
Wonder.
I've got it. And I know it would look exactly the same the second time. So like, and I know he could do it the second time.
What does he do that makes him such a good putter? I mean, other than clearly the greatest discs he's putting with.
Yeah, the Pro Series Steady is actually pretty stinking sweet. Shameless plug. But Matt Bell, here's something people don't know about Bell. He's actually left-handed. He's a left-handed putter. But
so he's cheating.
Well, he's only
got that
putts
opposite
right.
Spin.
No, he putts right-handed. But he does it just to level the. No, he does it to level the playing field. I mean, he would make every putt inside of 100 feet 100% of the time if he putted with his dominant hand, but it would just be like weird. People would just get uncomfortable, you know? So he tries to normalize it by putting with his offhand. And people still talk about it. So there's...
I mean, rightfully so. At some point, he's just going to have to give up both hands and start putting with his feet.
Well, that's probably next season.
Yeah.
We're going to, as his sponsor, we need to probably have a talk with him like, hey, I mean, this is cool. We're selling a lot of putters, and we love making millions of dollars. Don't get us wrong. But people are a little creeped out by how good you are at this. So is there a way you can...
As the marketing manager, you can faithfully
2 fingers
say...
or something? I don't know. A pinky putt?
You can faithfully say that 100% of his putting prowess comes from his discs, right? Like you put any other putter in his hand, and he's not drawing metal from 10.
He's garbage.
Yeah, he's
no.
trash.
Matt Bell's a terrible putter.
Yeah,
like organically, Matt Bell doesn't know a thing about putting. It's this disc. It's the same reason that I'm so bad at putting, because I am actually a really, really amazing putter. Just stick with me here, because this disc
we're gonna
is
roll
kind
this
of
out.
like, you know what I mean? Like he is actually really bad at putting. Put this disc in his hand, bam. You know, I'm amazing at putting. This disc in my hand never goes in. It's kind of 2 positives becomes a negative all of a sudden. You know, it's simple math. Get Allie back in here. She would get it.
It doesn't add up in my head, but I believe you.
Matt Bell's father was killed by a man with 6 fingers on his right. This could be a whole thing, guys. We need to make up a whole line of Chuck Norris style jokes with Matt Bell as a putter.
Well, the 6 fingers, you know what that's from, though, right? That's not Chuck Norris.
Oh, Princess Bride.
Okay,
come
thank you.
on. I may have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. You know, like I get around.
Were you born at night? Were you a night baby?
I was. Yeah.
I was an afternoon kid. So
That's considerate. I'm a 4:30 in the morning, like the in-law. No wonder all my in-laws hated me growing up. It wasn't because I was annoying and, was smart, alecky, and sarcastic. It's because I was born at night, and they all had to turn up for it.
yeah, what a jerk. What a jerk.
That explains a lot.
All right, Tyler, we're going to wrap up this show, and we're going to get into the after show where we talk about things that don't matter, unlike what we're talking about right now.
Right.
So,
do we get to drink in the after show, or what's the Smashbox alcohol policy?
we can. I mean, the alcohol policy is yesterday I bought a bottle of Maker's Mark bourbon for my house, and because it's the first alcohol I've had in the new house, and I don't have any right now because I don't have any ice cubes.
Oh, because I only bought a liter, and that was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
So-
Because I bought it yesterday and it's gone today. I don't know what happened, Tyler.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Oh,
remember
man.
what happened, but yeah, that was the best available alcohol at my corner store. So at the I'm in a fancy area of town now. So actually, it wasn't the best. There was I think there was a Basil Hayden there that I could have had, but it was more expensive and I was cheap because I need to save up to get some Matt Bell putters so I can learn how to putt. I need to put some DGA baskets in my backyard so I can putt with Matt Bell putters.
We need to talk about the mock shift in the after show and alcohol. Let's do both.
We can do that. All right, everybody. So for Allie Smith out of the Kansas City area and her soon sponsor after Throw Pink, whoever that may be, we'll find out, won't we? And for Tyler Brickley, I am John Van Derzen, and we want to thank you for joining us here on Smashbox TV. You can support Smashbox TV or Tyler Brickley, actually, on patreon.com. You can look up either of us, and you will find us. I do want to thank Tyler for hopping on the show tonight. When I got the message from Terry Miller saying he was not going to be able to join due to his travel, I had two people in mind, and Tyler was one of them. And he so thankfully joined me tonight. I didn't even have to worry about it. I'm very happy. Thank you, Tyler, for joining us.
Yeah, it's been fine.
It's been all right.
It's been what it's been.
I mean,
That's
this
for
is
sure. But
episode 367, and this one is in our top 365.
yeah, well, hilariously too, I've been on Smashbox 3 times now. Never with Terry. What's that say?
I mean, he doesn't not like you.
Sure, he doesn't.
Yeah,
Not.
I'm just saying,
Of course, he doesn't.
And happy birthday to Yuli out there, by the way. It's his birthday today.
Oh, is it Yuli's birthday?
It's Yuli's birthday today. So happy birthday to
Should we
the man.
sing happy birthday to him?
No, he should just call me.
No.
No, we should not sing happy birthday to him. I messaged him the other day, and I'm waiting for a call from Paul Ulibari. So if you're near Paul Ulibari,
Okay.
just feel free to just give him a little pinch.
That's
in the
funny,
arm
actually.
And
I
tell him to call
messaged him
Johnny B.
yesterday, literally.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was his, he hasn't responded to me either. Oh, let's bet $5 on who he responds to first.
Is yours gonna is the reason you're reaching out to him going to make him money?
Yes.
Me too. Oh, I don't know. So, all
But yours probably more money
We'll
for
see.
yours.
It depends.
But
what
mine's going to
happens.
be more fun, so
Oh yeah. Yours will definitely be more fun.
yeah, okay.
Mine's just a straight up cash.
Tune in
grab.
next week to find out. You won't find out, but still do tune in next week.
Yeah, you won't find out. But yes, tune in next week. All right, stay tuned for the after show. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Once again, thanks to everybody, and we will see you in a few. Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the Smashbox TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/smashboxtv. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV's 367 After Show.
After show.
Tyler, I saw you were pretending to sleep. Don't try to fool me. There's no way you're going to sleep. This is the after show. This is what everyone hangs around for.
This is the best part of the whole thing.
This is the only reason I do this podcast, so I can do an after show. I have to talk to all these disc golfers, and they bother me, every last one of them. They're probably all horrible human beings, but I get to do an after show where people have to listen to me. That's not true. Almost every disc golfer we have on here is a great person.
So you don't do it for the money. You do this for the power.
I do this for the power and the fame.
Over other, yeah.
This is, when I show up to a movie theater and I say, do you know who I am? And they say, no, sir. This is a Hardee's. It doesn't do me any good.
No.
So, I mean.
Cheers. So you're not drinking then? So you don't have anything.
So how long? Here's a question for you. Say there's a glass of water next to you. You don't know where it came from. It's your house. You don't know how long it's been there, but you know it's water. You know it's probably yours. Do you drink it? Like, how long can you let water sit before you probably go and go, I'm not drinking that?
Oh, well, is it in a glass or a plastic bottle?
Plastic cup.
Yeah, that's sketch.
Yeah,
That's
like,
sketch.
what,
You don't
2
want to
days?
be having. You don't want to be having the cancers, JVD.
No,
You can't
nobody
be
wants
drinking
that.
water out of a plastic cup after it's been leaking the plastics down the side of it.
Probably.
Hey, you can trust. I'm a doctor. You can trust me on this. That's what happens.
I mean, I'm fairly certain that's my cup, and I'm fairly certain it's from this weekend when I sat down here for some stuff to do some work, some prep for the broadcast. But I looked at it and I went, I'm kind of thirsty, and there's water there, and it's mine, so I drank it.
You think, allegedly.
Nobody else is sitting at my desk. They know better.
Tim's got it figured out. You got to be careful of MSG in that water glass. You get too much MSG on you.
I add extra MSG in my water. It's just
Holy crap!
It's just
JVD's up here.
yeah, just
Add
dumping
the-
MSG in the water. Just everything gets MSG'd in my house. You wouldn't believe. Everyone's. You haven't lived until you've had Honey Nut Cheerios with MSG.
And ironically, it's shortly after that you die. Experience living and dying in the same bowl.
I mean,
What a way to go.
go out with a smile. That's what I always say. Go out with a smile.
I've got a Chicago. You know Chicago, huh?
I've been there once or 3 times.
I've got a Maplewood Fat Pug, which is an oatmeal milk stout. And I actually went on a little bit of a journey to find this because it was only available in one spot.
In the
here in
Kansas City area?
Well, it's available at a restaurant that we go to every Saturday night with the fam. We go to a pizza place, and I got a flight of beers, and this was one of them. And I'm like, this is delicious. What is it? And I started looking around trying to find it, and we had to drive a good 30 to 40 to pick this thing up. So I stocked up. Got a handful of them.
That's good. I mean, I don't drink beer, but okay. I'm sure it's delicious.
Yeah. Nice flex, but okay.
That's no, this is a nice
It's
flex.
healthy. Oh my gosh, what just happened? All right, well,
don't
if you're just
know.
joining us, this is the after show. Things get pretty crazy, guys.
Whoa. Yeah, lately, have you played Eagles Crossing? Elizabeth Borg on the board is talking about it. It's like apparently the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I am very close to it, and I've talked to my buddy Ben about maybe taking a road trip out there at some point. Oh, Ben. Oh, no, that's the week of the Kansas City Wide Open. I was like, oh, my wife and kids will be out of town. We could go then, but nope.
Are you playing in the Kansas City Wide Open, or are you just going to be participating in some other way?
So I found out recently that no, I wouldn't have been able to anyway, but I was really thinking about signing up for advanced for like a week or so. I was like trying to wait. It's a 3-day event. And as someone with children, you understand how taxing that can be.
Very.
But if I wanted to play it now, I'd have to sign up for MPO, and that would just be a joke.
Be a beatdown. Yeah.
For them. I mean, I would. I mean, you have to give them a chance.
They can't. That's why you sign up in advance and you play offhanded.
That's probably what I would do, but I can't now because it's full, so it's moot.
Yeah, and Kansas City Wide Open, the advanced field has always filled up very fast. It's a great event. It's always been a really great event. It's been a national tour event for a few years. It's always been a super A tier or a super tour, as they used to call it. Now then it's been an A tier, and I think it's a B tier right now. But like you said, it's like a B tier that feels like an A tier. It's just that type of. It's got that type of history.
It's like a BA tier. That's what we should.
A BA.
It's always been a BA A tier, but now it's just a BA B tier.
Yeah.
Some people, they get it.
Somebody will get it.
Ben, yes, we could play Harmony Bends. I definitely want to check that course out too. I think I'm within an hour. Ben, did you tell me that that's this Eagles Crossing that everybody's been raving about? It's like an hour from us to the east. That sounds amazing.
I would do that. I'm not going to with you, but I would if I were in your position.
Well, you're not invited.
Good.
And we would never because, you know.
You can't. You can't.
You get it.
Yeah. You can't.
I want to talk about your disc golf history. That's one thing. You can talk about whatever the chat wants to talk about, but I pulled up your PDGA.
Ooh.
Current rating 931. Years. Get wrecked, Johnny V. I'm assuming this is you, 14324.
That is a low PDGA number, and yes, that's me.
$2,100 earned in your career. 7 wins? Let's check these bad boys out.
I've got a few wins there. Couple.
You got 4 B tier wins. Let's go.
Do I've had my day.
One recently.
Last year, is that right?
June of 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that
the Greater
June?
Milwaukee Open?
Yeah. That's That was the GMO. That was the Greater Milwaukee Open in Advanced Masters. I did win that. Yep.
And then 1918. So that's interesting. Most of these. Oh, you got the Glassblown Open. Oh, the start, like one of the events they put at the beginning of it.
One of the Flex C tiers I won. I did. Yeah. We showed up. We played out. Literally walked out of our car practically, and I don't know if I'd ever played the course before, and I shot something pretty darn good.
That's awesome.
And I won. I think I beat Dixon in that. I mean, it's Flex. We don't play together. But okay. I believe Dixon tried playing that. And then we played another Flex one later that day, and I think I took almost another course I'd never played, and I took almost dead last. All within 2 days. Funny. So
that's all you need.
Yeah, that's right. I got
a little bit of ups and downs.
It's fun. That's why I play disc golf. I don't do it for the fame or the fortune. I have all that.
The power, though.
The power.
I am in it for that.
All these people I forced to come here and listen to me every week. I pay them. I mean, I pay them well, but
that's interesting. I'm paying you actually for this.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I do expect a check in the mail.
No,
a $2 check.
I'm on your Patreon, JVD.
I know, but I still expect a check in the mail.
Oh,
still expect one.
I'm doing it wrong. I signed up via PayPal. I'm so sorry. This is actually kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean,
do you want to just reimburse me all?
I feel like if you send me a check, then I know you've given me more because there's a stamp on it. So that's an extra 39 cents. Is that what stamps are these days? I'm so old.
But you don't get the money for the stamp, JVD. That's not how that works.
Then you're not doing it right with stamps.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying.
It has been a while since I mailed something. Is Paul Macbeth washed up? Oh, Disc Golf Luke, absolutely. Hey, you know what y'all should be doing instead of watching JVD and I in the after show? You should be subscribing to Disc Golf Luke's TikTok account.
Really?
Are you on the TikToks, JVD?
No, I had TikTok for a while. I didn't actually ever sign up for an account, but they let you surf it for free.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and basically I think it's all the popular, you don't get any sort of customization. So
Oh,
everything
yeah.
I
You have to
scrolled
have
through
that.
was more or less like a high school girl doing some new dance, and it got
Right.
creepy for a while. Like I was
Yeah.
kind of like, this is odd. I'm sitting here on my couch scrolling through TikTok, and they're all like college and high school girls doing dances.
Well,
And at
not
that
all
point-
of them. I mean, I do those dances too, but
But
obviously
that
I'm
was
not
all
a
that was
high
in my
school-
feed, and so maybe that says something about
Yeah.
me. But I'm like, I'm in my 40s.
No, you have to.
I don't think I need TikTok. But then someone
It
told
takes
me,
a couple
Yeah.
weeks of like pressing down on the screen. By the way, if you guys don't, if there's other millennials out there using TikTok and you're too old, you just hold down on the screen and then click not interested, or you can obviously double tap to heart it, to like it. So you can tell it takes about a week from what I've seen. And now it is like, what's hilarious though is scrolling my TikTok versus scrolling my wife's TikTok. Because
Yeah?
mine, as you can imagine, is just like the most mindless, fun, happy. Like there's enough sadness in the world. I want to get on TikTok to like show me a video of a raccoon jumping off something in a weird way and
Sure.
make me laugh. Or a stand-up comedian does a bit or whatever, and Molly's is like current events and like important things and like people doing like self-help, how to be a better person, like those kind of things. And I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that crap.
that seems like a very. I mean, I think that's a staple of every platform, but it just feels like TikTok. Like that's not. That doesn't seem to fit in with TikTok. And I know it happens. It's out there. Like people do instructional stuff and, like you said, self-help and things like that. But TikTok just doesn't seem like the platform. But I guess any platform can be the platform if that's what you're looking for. Yeah. So it got creepy,
but
and
Disc
I
Golf
lost
Luke.
time. Like I was suddenly I was like an
Right.
hour
Oh,
into
yeah.
this, and I was like, oh god, I need to get rid of this. So I need to not sign up for this, and I need to delete it off my phone now.
That's
and
when
then-
I'm like,
Yeah. So
oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
yeah, that's exactly what I would do. So
But Disc Golf
removed it.
Luke has videos with millions of views on there because he puts out trick shots every day. The guy has got a hustle. Let me tell you.
every
He-
day it's a work.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, but I feel like I see a new video from you every single day, and they're not just throwaway content. I mean, he's doing like a trick shot, and some of his trick shots keep Simon Lizotte up at night. I promise. Like they are so good. It's good stuff. Go check him out. Are you on Instagram and different things too, Luke?
Luke. Yeah, Luke, are you out there? Are you on these things?
Because maybe the other folks who aren't on TikTok, they'd probably appreciate seeing your stuff, on the more traditional mediums.
I mean, TikTok is probably a traditional medium now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
It's no different than Instagram. I have an Instagram account. I don't know if I've ever posted to it, but I have an account that I scroll around, and I follow a bunch of disc golfers, so you can get a lot of information so I can be good at my job.
Mm-hmm.
And
Follow me on
yeah,
Instagram.
I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know.
All right. Well, be
I
good at
honestly-
your job.
I have no clue who I follow because I go through. And Terry says I do Instagram wrong because I don't ever scroll up and down. I just hit the buttons at the top, the pictures, and those go. And then I can click
Oh,
through.
you just do stories?
Is that what those are? Yeah,
Like-
that's all. I
Yeah. Insta stories is the
do. Okay. Yeah.
the one, and so then you're swiping sideways or clicking
Yeah.
sideways.
I click through things I don't want, and if it's a whole one, I swipe.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't ever scroll
You're a
up and down.
beautiful human being, Johnny V.
I mean,
It's real
definitely unique.
fascinating.
Terry says.
thing you got going. Yeah, exactly. Terry's busy doing the dances on TikToks like me, trying to get famous. He
I mean,
doesn't
that's-
have time to be.
If you're gonna get famous, that's the way to do it. TikTok is the future until Yik Yak comes back, and then that becomes the future. So
I don't know. I've never heard of Yik Yak.
you never heard of Yik Yak? Was like the hot thing for about a week.
Oh,
Yeah, it was before TikTok. I think it was called Yik Yak. It was Yaks.
now,
I don't
now you're
know.
still pretty active on Parlor, right?
Well, I mean, that's where I get most of my memes from.
Right.
I mean, if you're not posting a frog meme at least once every 3 days, are you really living?
You get a lot of like your current events information. And,
most of my current events come from Parler, so I'm
smart. Somebody clip that. We got it. That's it, guys. It's a wrap. We're good here.
There's It's that's. I don't even know where to go with the joke for that one, but
it's really not a joking matter. Don't be on Parler, guys.
Probably
Parler's not great. Don't do it. All of us at Smashbox disapprove of Parler officially.
Yeah. So
that's the stamp.
Do not follow the official Smashbox Parler. Just ignore that one.
We disapprove of it. So please don't find us there because
don't find us there.
Awkward.
It's strange. We post weird things there.
Terry's live streaming tonight. That's why he actually couldn't be on Smashbox. He's hosting kind of a seminar.
Terry's hosting a Parler seminar.
Oh, oof.
No, I think Terry said he was going to be in the New York area before he flies out to Bend. So he was going to be without access to a good connection or something along those lines. That's where Terry is.
Ben says, at what point in 2022 will discs become widely available and in stock?
It's a great question, Ben. I would hope by the start of 2022 that the manufacturers, and maybe Tyler knows this better than most people because he works for a manufacturer. I just speculate, on the other hand. I would hope that by like early 2022, most of the manufacturers will have a good general baseline of what the sport is now in 2021, because everybody was kind of scared. Everyone was scared going into 2021, wondering was 2020 a peak? Are we going to see a big crash or decline? Is it going to plateau? Is it going to keep building? So hopefully they've got their whole 2021 now. They look at it and they're going, all right, we sold this much compared to 2020. It was X percent bigger. Let's hope, because if it's smaller, you're probably not doing well as a disc golf company. Let's be honest. So 2021 is hopefully doing better. And you can kind of get a general baseline and know, should we invest in more molding machines, another warehouse, more employees? Should we sponsor more players? I hope that all of our holdups, I'll just say that, holdups are taken care of by early 2022. What do you think, Tyler?
I agree with the hope. I don't see it.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. Not early 2022, maybe mid 2022. But I mean, the bottlenecks with the supply chain right now are so significant. I just can't even imagine.
To put it in perspective, I want a patio out in my backyard. A nice little patio put in. We just got the house. It's the one thing it could use in the backyard. Some of the stone is sinking. That's when you step out of the house. It's like an extra inch or two deep. So we thought, it's kind of in disarray. Let's put a patio out there. Talk to my patio guy, who doesn't have a patio guy. And he said, John, pick out some stone. Let me know what you want. We'll take care of it. I'm like, okay. The stone we picked out, he's like, yeah, basically, there's like one stone in stock. Everything else, I'm like, stone? You can't get stone right now? Like rocks? Like what literally what the earth is made out of?
You're that client. You're just yelling at him.
No, he's a disc golfer. He's a friend of mine. But in general, I'm thinking like, that's how backed up things are. Like you can't get rocks. You literally can't get rocks.
I can't get rocks.
I just want some fancy freaking rocks for my backyard, nice and flat, laid down in a nice pattern, and I can't get them because there's like 2-month backup on them. So
yeah, we're not gonna be able to get those rocks for you. There's a pretty high demand right now. Those rocks. Yeah, those are some pretty good rocks.
Those are some nice rocks, and we can't get them for you.
We could get you like some. You want some gravel? We could get you some gravel. Maybe in the next 6 weeks, even gravel's, pushed out.
Gravel stuff, because they can't, whatever machines cut the rocks are undermanned, and they don't have people to quarry the rocks or something. And I don't know, but there's supply chain issues everywhere. I can't get my rocks. I can't get any computer chips. I can't get monitors. Can't get laptops. Can't get new cars. You can't get anything at this point. Can't get discs.
There's the uh, chat's funny. The funniest one for me is like all of the products that are ready and waiting at the factory, but they can't get to the client because they don't have containers. Like literally they're out of boxes to put the stuff in to ship it to the client. You know what I mean? Like the shipping containers, like they're just full and they're sitting on barges in the harbor and just like waiting to be processed and brought in. And it's just like, that's the situation. And so like shipping, like quote unquote, isn't really a problem. Like shipping, no, of course it is, but because that's part of the whole process, but like it's getting to port in the right amount of time, and then after port it gets to you in a normal amount of time, but there could be 2 months in between. That's the absolutely mind-boggling thing right now.
Was it Steve Dodge that made a post that said that to get the new game over, the Birdie expansion as well as the airplane game I think they just released from Todd, that normally a shipping container costs, like to ship something, is like $3,000, and that it's going for like 20 now, right now, 20 grand to ship something over.
I hadn't heard that, but I am not surprised
that the cost is so much because the demand is so high right now. You have to pay more in order to get your stuff prioritized. It's ridiculous.
Nico's in charge of inventory.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well.
All that being said, doom and gloom aside, Discraft is killing it for us, and they have been even through the pandemic, but their hands were tied with so many different things.
Of course.
But we have started to like get a significant amount of, it feels significant because of 2020, 2021, but we're actually getting thousands of discs in now, which is like so exciting. And it makes me think like, oh yeah, maybe early 2022, but not. To answer Ben's question, which was basically like, when is there going to be a normal, healthy supply? I don't see it early 2022, hopefully mid by summer, but because the demand keeps going up too.
You have to you have to wonder if the demand isn't met, will people start to lose interest, or because right now stock discs are hard to get, but they're not, in my understanding, is they're not going for that much above cost. But every specialty disc, every specialty stamp that we see come out of Innova, Discraft, DGA, everyone, basically, if you put something special on it, it seems to go for twice what it's worth, or what it used to. I don't say what it's worth. That's maybe the bad way of putting it. Twice what it would normally go for, what it used to go for. So when DGA releases the 5th annual Tyler on Smashbox custom stamp,
Hey, we're working on that actually right now.
See?
We were talking about a disc golf comedy stamp right before the pandemic, and then we've shut down our custom stamping program for over a year now. But with us getting a bunch of discs back in, I brought it back up a few weeks ago, and we actually have a stamp. So I'm working on getting some disc golf comedy discs out there. So support the hustle, folks, and they're on great discs. We'll see. JVD will bring them on the show at some point. Maybe we'll do one for a giveaway.
Yeah, I would be happy to. That would be.
We could give away the one that you gave away to me, and then gave back away to whatever his face.
I don't remember who.
I
don't think it was Federico Sorensen. I don't think it was him, but
no,
could have been anybody.
Yeah.
So who are your favorite young/new to tour disc golfers? Asks Ben. I love me some Kyle Klein. I mean, it's hard not to. Him, he's just such a solid player, and him and Ricky Yachty make just a nice little cute young couple on tour. Can't argue with that. And he seems like a friendly kid. Got a good family. He's a great player. He's winning. Doesn't seem like he gets really upset when things are.
He can wear a hat too.
The kid can wear a hat. He can.
Not everybody can, not everybody's got that figured out. Myself included, I'll be honest. But like, hats just seem like they should be on his head.
Now, are you a very flat brim hat kind of guy by the looks of that one?
See, that's what I just, I'm bi.
Okay.
I actually, can go, both ways with hats, flat or curved. And I'm not really sure which
I'm very
one
much,
is better.
and maybe it's my upbringing. I'm very much a curved bill kind of hat. Like get that thing down.
Yeah. Kind of conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it.
I want it like really curled in there. That's me. So.
Well, that's fine. You could be, if you just want to dedicate your life to one brim style, that's fine.
That's what I do.
But it's when you start
silly
becoming
with
militant
flat.
against the other brim styles, that's when you have a problem. When you start saying, this is the one for me, and also yours is wrong and stupid. Is that kind of where you can be honest? It's kind of where you're at with
depends
the
on the
flat bill.
person. Sometimes I look at a person, I go, that flat brim style isn't for you, sir. And then I slap it off his head. But I tell him first. I said, that's not for you. You should really, or what I'll do is I'll just sneak up behind them and I'll reach over them and I'll curl it for him. I say, that's how it should be.
Yep.
Do it.
And then he says, "Excuse me, sir, this is a Hardee's."
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, this is my Hardee's visor. I don't care. I don't care.
It needs to be curved.
This needs to be curved.
Hey Jay, thanks for the super chat. Also, thanks for the Jay and Ray J. They got a little thing going in the chat. They've been giving me some really great constructive feedback on my co-hosting skills, which I super appreciate. I have too much self-esteem. I go to bed almost every night feeling like good about myself, so I think it's helpful. I don't know if that's the way you are. Yeah, I appreciate just a little bit of doubt, just a little bit of insecurity.
I don't have that.
There.
I go to bed knowing I'm the best.
Oh gosh, guys, come on, get on.
I mean, in
what
general,
are you doing?
like that,
JVD needs
everything
a little
I
bit of that.
touch, everything I do, everybody loves. Who knew? I mean, I've never had a complaint about anything
Is it
golf
me?
related.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
probably is.
I can, this weekend at MVP, flawless, like
Right.
Mortal Kombat used to say, flawless victory. I walked out of that broadcast thinking we nailed that.
MVP.
Not a
Disc
problem.
Golf Pro Tour broadcast.
So,
MVP. This really
Everything I touch
flawless.
turns to gold.
Interesting. Jay Santos, thank you for the super chat. Can anything be stamped? Well, we know you can't double stamp a triple stamp,
We've heard that.
but aside from that, can anything be stamped?
I mean,
Bisexual? Oh man, with the hat thing. I'm biflexual. That is amazing. Omnipresent. Way to go. Sorry.
that's good.
Sorry.
I mean, can anything be stamped? I assume anything plastic and flat can be stamped. I mean, I don't think you can stamp. I don't know if you could. I mean, you can't stamp a piece of fabric, can you? Not with the stampers they have. I mean, that's more screen printing, or I think there's other methods.
Do you mean can any disc be stamped, Jay?
I mean,
I know that like the signature line, like the Blowfly, the Gum Putt, those we've never offered custom stamping on because the stamping process on that is pretty. It's not like making a hot plate for a hot stamping machine. It's more expensive to stamp those. So, Shock JVD actually plays, dude. JVD's good.
Yeah.
Terry's good too.
Yeah, Terry. I mean, Terry's always been better than me. I mean, at disc golf, not in life. I mean, in general.
Right, of course.
Come on.
Yeah, but also life. But yeah,
but also life. Yeah. So, Terry's. I've said this before on the podcast. Like Terry, if Terry practices now, and he used to be just shy of 1,000 rated. He was a very good player. He still is a really good putter. Distance-wise, him and I are pretty even. I think I might have him a little bit in distance, but not much, not anything significant. 20 feet, 30 feet. But it also helps I'm, 6'6" and have a wingspan of 6'6", and Terry's like 4'3", and has
Right.
you know, even shorter arms.
In heels.
I think
When he's-
I think his wingspan is literally 2 feet 8 inches. It's
Poor
awkward. It's awkward to watch him walk around, but it's more awkward to watch him throw.
Yeah.
And I've had to for like 30 years. I finally had to tell him like I think it was like 3 weeks ago I told him. So
How often do you guys actually get in around
I will probably
these days?
these days I'll probably get in 6 to 8 rounds this year.
With Terry, though.
Oh, with Terry, maybe one a
Really?
year. We'll play together. Yeah.
Wow.
And to be fair, we never really played a lot together because he was usually in a better card than me. So,
Oh, sure.
So, but we travel to a lot of events together. I always feel like I'm if I practice and I dedicate myself for like a couple weeks or months, I'm like a 940 to 950 rated player. I'm sitting at like 930 right now. And that's kind of like literally I'll go off the couch. If I have a tournament I'm going to sign up for, which I won't anymore this year, I don't think, I probably won't practice. I'll maybe throw some putts. Maybe. And I can usually shoot about 930 golf. If I actually put forth some effort and practice 940 to 950, I think my rating sits about. I think Terry, if he's kind of dedicated himself a little more, he could probably be 970, 960, 970, maybe up to 980, depending on what's going on. That's kind of our floor at that point. But I'm getting old now, and things are getting sore, and so what happens?
Do you anticipate playing with your kids? Getting your kids
Yeah.
out? Or do you?
I do a little
Get
bit. My son enjoys playing a little bit. I mean, it's my own fault, but he's an indoor kid. I don't think the pandemic helped much, but we did get out and
Yeah.
play disc golf a little bit at times, and honestly, it's a lot more difficult with the broadcasts because we broadcast 30 weekends a year, so that pretty much takes up a majority of my February through October.
I didn't know it was that many. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I mean it's virtually every weekend. I think we've had 3, maybe 4 off weekends this year, and there's nobody. I can't say there's nobody. We do have one other gentleman who does kind of my job. He does switching, but I think I'm literally the only person that knows how to set up a disc golf broadcast show from vMix from scratch.
I could
So-
do it.
Yeah, you could get there.
I'm in vMix right now.
There you
Oh,
go.
I
See?
could get there. I could do it right now.
Yeah.
Just let me do GMC. JVD, come on. Let
I'm
me do it.
More than happy to let somebody else do it at any point. At any point, if
As long as the
literally,
documentary crew is there, like just filming the chaos behind the scenes. Mo and I
Yes.
screaming at each other.
yes, literally anyone could walk through the broadcast doors and say, "Hey, I think I can do this," and I would stand up. Like you please, by all means, take my job.
I'm just imagining Mo just screaming into people's earpieces, and I'm just over there like, "What's a bus?
What's a buzz?
This bus A?"
Yeah, Mo's not a screamer. Mo doesn't yell. No.
Okay.
I yell
interesting.
once in a while.
You've
like-
every phone call I've ever had with Mo, he ends by cussing me out and hanging.
I mean,
up on
there's
me.
a difference though. You can cuss you out, but he's not screaming it.
That's true. It was quiet.
It's a more
sinister
quiet.
kind of. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So I don't get out and play nearly as much as I would like. I would love to get out more. In fact, next year I'm going to kind of try to tell the Pro Tour, be like, yeah, we're cutting back on my time. My time's becoming a little more valuable. So,
What's your
gonna have to cut back.
What's the best part of JVD's game? We're playing a casual round. Tell me about your bag. What are you bagging?
What am I bagging right now? I'm trying to think of what's in my bag. There's a birdie bag. There's probably like $6 and change. So probably my best part of my game is probably the change I carry.
Is there
my
any
bag?
disc golf related equipment in your bag? Got some snacks. Got some money.
I did find.
What do you do on the disc golf course?
I did find like an old granola bar in my bag a couple weeks ago. I don't know how old it is. I did not eat that. I threw that one away.
Okay. You found
no,
a plastic glass of water, and you're
it's a
like,
glass of
I'm
water
pretty
sitting in
sure
my
this
bag."
is mine.
No. What am I bagging right? My drivers. Usually, I think for a long time I was very much like an Innova driver guy, and I've kind of started to explore the studio space a little more with that. I've got a Trespass in my bag, which I really like. I've got a TI Undertaker, which I really, really like for distances. I can, with that, I think with a little practice, I can get back up to like the high 300s, 360, 370, 380 throwing. I've broken 400.
Are you backhand?
Backhand. Yes, I cannot throw a forehand to save my
Right
life.
hand, backhand?
Right hand, backhand. Forehand is atrocious for me. I use it for emergencies only, and usually if I'm pulling out a forehand disc, I'm going to get in more trouble than when I should have thrown something else. But it's the right shot. I know it. Just because I can't throw it doesn't mean I don't know it's the right shot. So I'll pull it out, I'll screw it up, and I'll get in more trouble. But then I can usually maybe use a backhand to get out of that second bit of trouble I've gotten myself into. So those are kind of the TI Undertaker and the Trespass are more distance drivers. I've got a couple destroyers. I think I got 2 destroyers in my bag. T-Bird, Star T-Bird, and a Star Leopard in my bag. So those are kind of my drivers right now. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else in there that
It is Innova heavy.
it is Innova heavy for drivers. And then
Gotcha.
and then mid ranges, I've always been kind of a Discraft mid range guy, and a rock never really felt great in my hand. And
You're
remember
a buzz guy.
I was a buzz guy. Yeah, the minute the buzz came out, it felt perfect in my hand. I've got like literally a stack of like first run buzzes that just or 10-year buzzes that people like drool over, and I just need to at some point figure out what I want to do with them, because I always thought like, no, I'm going to use these to throw because I really like the first runs, and I can't bring myself to do it now. Now I'll just go buy a buzz off the shelf if any are available and say I'm not good enough to notice the difference anymore. Although the first runs tend to fly a little straighter.
It's your kid's college fund.
That and apparently my disc golf trading cards, they're going for some good money these days too, I hear.
There you go.
So I've got buzzes and comets in my bag for mid ranges. And a zone. So really, honestly, very very Discraft heavy for my mid ranges. I do have one EMAC Truth. No, is it an EMAC Truth? I think it's an EMAC Truth in my bag that I got at an event 2 years ago, and I bought a lighter one for my son. So I think he can play with it. It's still too stable even for him. And then my putters, I putted with a magnet for a long time. The hard magnets, the 3-chain 4-chain, whatever the one everybody really liked, because I'm old and I had old discs. I think it's the 3-chain magnets, and I had a bunch of them. And finally, I broke them all in, and I'm not about to pay like top dollar for more of them. So I reached out on the internet on this podcast, and I said, hey, anybody, I just want a putter that pretty much flies straight or neutral. Send me some putters, and I'll throw your putters. And Dynamic Discs, Robert McCall actually sent me a stack of 5 deputies, burst deputies, and that's what I've been and that's what I've been throwing. And I really like them. I can't really throw with them too much unless I plan on flipping them over, and like not flipping them over poorly, but knowing that they're going to turn over.
Right.
But I like
they're understable.
But they're understable for throwing. But I like them. I like how they feel for putting. And then I've got a Judge for a throwing putter as well. That's it. That's kind of the extent of my bag right now.
Man, if only we could get a DGA disc in there.
I am. I'm open to being bought.
Let's workshop this.
Sure.
What is when you go play a round?
Yep.
Is there ever I wish this thing did this more, or I could figure out this. I wish I had this shape, or.
Well, yes, 2 things. One, lately I've been going out, and all my discs that used to flip for me, they don't do that anymore. They're not as unstable as I thought, because I think my arm speed has slowed down a little bit with the lack of playing that I have, and I'm just more confident in a hyzer
as
shot.
Our bodies get more stable.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of
age. So like my leopards and T-birds that used to, like my 150 T-bird and stuff that used to stand up and do a nice like turnover, they don't do that anymore. They go straight or even hyzer at the end now.
I'm going to send you a sail.
A sail?
I'm going to send you a sail.
Okay.
Have you ever thrown the sail?
I have not.
Yeah. I have heard literally that it's like a slightly beaten leopard.
But I'll take it.
And my buddy Ben he's in the chat. He was teasing me the other day, like, like advanced players, they don't have any need for the sail, but I use it all the time.
Sure.
Like I have too much arm for the sail, but you can get such fun lines out of. What does that even mean, right? Too much. I don't have more than 2 arms. Like I've just got just the right number.
I've got
You'll
a third
need
arm
one
just
even.
for the sail. It's great.
Yeah. But even there's just so many things you can do with it. But out of the box, it is one of the most like flippy, glidey, fun disc golf tools that you will ever do. I'm going to send you a sail.
That's great. Yeah.
Put your mailing address in the chat, please.
Okay. 8857.
Shh! No, don't do it. Okay, what was the second thing? You said there was 2 things.
No, and just in general, I've never been very good at throwing an Anheuser with power, which is funny. And I think it's just my the way I pull through. I've never been very good at it. So that's like when I look at, I can throw a flippy disc up with a little hyzer, get it to get up and turn, but the throwing a disc with an Anheuser out of my hand, I lack power doing that. And that's just me. That's just a natural. I don't think there's a disc in the world that's going to help me with that.
Yeah, I got nothing for you there, JBD. You're just going to have to rot on that one.
More or less. More or less, I'm going to die that way, and that's fine. It's the way it's always been.
You're gonna die that way.
I'm just gonna die. Literally.
Tim wants a sail.
It's gonna be on my gravestone. Could never throw a power Anheuser, and I have to live with that. And that's my children will be cursed with that.
We'll put in parentheses maybe like, I mean, he could flip a flippy mid and get something to go to the right, but could never drive a stable mid
never drive it
on Anheuser. Like it's going to be this long epitaph. We'll put it in like 8-point font across the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need a sail. Ben wants us to send you a Rift too. A Rift is like, so I've said you've got the Buzz, right?
Yeah.
And then the Buzz OS.
Okay.
Well, no. I'm going the wrong way. You got the Buzz and the Buzz SS.
That's SS, yes.
The Rift is like a Buzz S.
Okay.
The Rift is like
that would be nice.
A 6-month Buzz. It's like your perfect, like the sweet baby Buzz that you've had for a year and you just love it. You count on it.
A year?
Snuggle with it at night. You know what I mean? But like it takes kind of that much time for it to get kind of just like perfect seasoned. That's the Rift. Off the shelf.
I think the Buzz in my bag is from 2007. So
it's seen some things.
Oh, maybe 2003. No, I'd have to look at the stamp on it.
Who's got more aces, you or Terry?
Oh, Terry.
Do you know the number?
No. I don't know his number. I don't know my number. My number's somewhere in the 20s, 20 to 30, something like that.
Dang.
I think Terry's probably in the 50s, 60s, 70s, maybe he's even more than that, but yeah.
Chat, imagine having so many aces that you don't remember anymore.
I found my very first ace disc when I was going through all this plastic. Wow. It's a Fly Die X clone from the No Foolin' number 9 tournament. It was the 9th year of that tournament, and I think that's like 98 or something like that. That sounds about right. Is when I got that disc because it's an X clone. And it's Dretzka hole 9. I wrote it on the back. I remember it still to this day exactly how I threw it, and it's a stable disc for me. At the time it was an X clone. It wasn't tie dye. It was fly dye, my friend. Yeah. Back in the day,
it's much harder to tie a disc in a knot, and leave it in the dye bucket for overnight. It's a pretty complicated process. You got to pay a lot for those.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, you need a sail. You're in your early 40s and your hips are giving out. I'm telling you, guys. The sail is like so usable by almost any level of player. If you were better than me, well, no, you know what? Screw it. Matt Bell says he bags a sail for different tournaments and he'll just fan grip it. 50% power. He's like, you're stuck in the woods. You can get these crazy long turnover shots with it.
Yeah.
Any level of player, the sail is useful. Go get it.
Yeah, Jay says that he's 6'3" and his hips are giving out. I'm in my 40s. I'm 6'6". My hips are great. My back is giving out a little bit. I'm starting to get that.
I didn't know you were 6'6".
I am 6'6". Well, probably 6'5" now, 6'5.5", something like that. I'm a very tall guy. I'm a giant.
There you go. We've never met in person.
You're right. I don't know if we have.
Yeah. So I've only ever seen your shoulders and head.
Yeah.
Are you on coverage anywhere? Are you in? Is Terry like? Are you guys on? Can we search you up on YouTube and see you guys playing?
I don't think that there's any coverage of me playing anywhere. I don't believe.
Even if it's not like official, like somebody's like
grabbed
a camera and filmed a league or something.
I don't think so. I know Terry, like I said, it was last year during COVID. Terry, we all went out to Ben Askren's place, and it was me and Terry and Macbeth and Brody and Ben. I thought there was somebody else out there, and we all played. We played for fun, and that was, we made a bet with Brody about whether he could beat us or not, and I was pretty confident at the time that he couldn't because it was a wooded course and he wasn't a wooded player, and I believe the three of us literally all tied.
No way.
Yeah, I think
that's hilarious.
It came down to the last hole, which was like hole 18 at Askren's place. It's uphill. It's probably about 320 to 330 feet, but it plays probably closer to 400. And I pured it like right up the center. I had like a 30-foot putt. I was at the very edge of the hill to go up, and Terry shanked it because I think he was up by 1, and he went in the woods and he took a 4. I had a putt for birdie to win, and I missed it, so we ended up all tying. Like it was about a 30-footer, and I was very upset because putting is usually one of my strengths. So,
Chris Rodriguez says the indoor tourney 2 years ago.
Oh,
ask him about the indoor event.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Is that
there.
Jeff Showers deal?
Yes. I didn't realize that. I didn't know if that was if there was any coverage of that. To be honest, I know it's been filmed a little bit, but I show up, and again, I feel bad because sometimes I maybe slightly abuse my position of being in coverage and being on podcasts because I showed up to the indoor event and I don't think I registered. Maybe I did for that one, but I just wanted to jump on. I think Simon was here playing or something, and I jumped on and threw a couple shots for fun. I didn't actually play that year. I just threw some shots for fun, and I hung out and did some filming. But I think I like smashed chains on one of the little. It was like 125 feet or something.
That's funny.
So,
yeah, Chris says that you were on camera.
I might have been on camera there. Yeah, I don't have very good footwork. I know that. I'm not.
Well, you're so tall. You're like a giraffe. You got to get all this.
I am.
All those things moving underneath you.
Yeah. Yep. It's not far off.
Sorry.
You're not wrong.
I'm like.
You're not wrong, my friend. There's a lot of moving parts. And they don't all work together sometimes.
Okay, what about Terry? Terry, has he been on?
Yeah,
televised disc golf stuff.
Yeah, there's been stuff. I mean, you could look at Terry at the All-Star event this past year.
Oh yeah, sure.
He was on there. You can dig back. There's some old footage from I think way back. Disc TV.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking discgolfplanet.tv.
No, Disc
was
TV.
he on that? Even before that.
Yeah, before that, when these were sent out on these, there was literally a subscription service that would send you DVDs, kind of like a Netflix.
Whoa.
But I think they were like, or maybe he just bought the full set of DVDs. But yeah, there's some old Northwoods coverage where Terry is throwing some discs, and yeah, it's there's way more coverage of Terry out there than there is of me. So Terry's got the if you look up the old Santa Cruz 2011 speed putting, Terry won that. Yeah, so that's out there of Terry putting. I think I'm somewhere in the background. You can hear me or something, but yeah.
So how does that make you feel? That you're the one who does 87% of the work here on Smashbox, and Terry is the celebrity.
It's all right.
And JVD is a well-known figure, but definitely not the iconic status. How does that make you feel?
I'm fine with it. I know where my place is, so to speak. Everyone has a place. I'm happy in my place. I get a little bit
And
of
when you say
FaceTime.
it's above Terry?
Oh yeah, I'm at least a head above him.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, yeah. Right.
At least.
There's that.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. No, I mean Terry deserves the celebrity spot. He's he did the whole disc golf blog or vlog or whatever you wanted to call it back in the day. The vlog. He quit his job and he did a full-time disc golf, and he got in front of the camera when nobody else was doing it. And I was happy to hold the camera half the time when he was like, I would play an event, and then he'd do a disc golf vlog and we'd film it and he'd edit it and I'd go hang out and go to bed. And then it wasn't until like we really needed some tech stuff done that I stepped up and I was like, I can do that. Sure. Or let's start Terry, let's start a podcast because people really want to hear what we have to say for 2 to 3 hours a night. I mean, who doesn't, honestly? And when the tech stuff was needed, somebody needed to do it. And so it was me. I was thinking this, like, it really is kind of odd and strange how many things, like, Terry and I have our little mitts in. I mean, and things that just have been around forever. I don't know why other people aren't doing more things. I'm not sure.
Not only things that are going on now, but like, pioneering things that we all take for granted now that were at some point new.
Yeah.
And you guys were probably around. Can you, if that is the case, can you tell us one or two of those things? Like what comes to mind?
I mean, for me, starting doing one of the first disc golf blogs Terry and I started. It was our spring break adventures. It was on Blogger before Google bought it.
Oh,
way back
yeah.
then. We were just like, sure, like these blogs are a new thing. Let's start one and do it.
Yeah.
And so we were one of the first disc golf blogs where we literally every night we would write up like, okay, let's write up our adventures today. What did we do? What courses did we hit? What did people shoot? Where did we go out that night to whatever bar or whatever? And we would write them up. And we did it for
and that was like
couple
Jomez
months.
For people.
That was
the way for other people to take in disc golf coverage.
Yeah, we did that. And then I'm still amazed. Give myself a small pat on the back. That a better, bigger, or different fantasy disc golf site hasn't popped up, because one of the
skipbase.com.
How I met Scott Reek when Allie mentioned Under Par, I knew Scott Reek right away because before I ever met him in person, he was the very first sponsor for Fantasy Disc Golf, which was just Fantasy DG at the time, and I started that like 2005, I think was the first year I did that. I built the website and did that, and then I just let it go.
Wow.
I did it for like 4 years, and some of the guys that are still doing, they're still on the board or that are playing, we're sponsors. But Scott Reek was the very first sponsor. Under Par, he would give out like a $5 or $10 gift certificate like every week that we did it, and so that's how I met Scott originally. And then he went on to he moved to Wisconsin, started running events. Then he moved to Kansas City area and started working with DD. And now he's doing, I know he still does Under Par, but I think, is he with Latitude now maybe? I don't exactly know what his position is. But yeah, so like I did that for 4 or 5 years. I quit because I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. And I was dumb. I should have kept going. And a couple other people did it off and on. And then a couple of years ago, I decided, hey, nobody's doing this again. Somebody needs to do this. And so I just put a whole bunch of time and money into it. And so I'm excited because there's possibly things that are coming up. So.
Oh. Disc Golf Comedy is the title sponsor of Skip Ace Disc Golf. It's kind of going a different direction.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very weird. I'm excited because I think I'm trying to work with my web developer to get some things for USDGC. So I'm excited. There could be some good potential. And I reached out to a few people today about some things that I hopefully will be able to talk about in a week. So we'll see.
Was there ever an attempt at streaming a sport online the way discgolfplanet.tv did in the day? I'm not sure if he's just talking about sports in
Yeah.
general, but I would be curious to know if there was ever a different attempt, because I think Disc Golf Planet is the one that most people are kind of aware of as
Yeah.
like the OG stream
And they
thing.
were.
Were there other? Okay, that was
No,
like the first foray into that.
Yes, they were based. Well, yes, yes and no. I think I don't remember who tried it first. I think it was Disc Golf Planet that did some of the first disc golf live streams. But I know Steve Dodge actually, he would go out to Maple Hill with basically a laptop in a bag and some sort of camera. I don't know if it was a webcam or a camera hooked up to it, and try to walk around with that. And it
No
was
way.
some of the very early streaming back in the day. But the Planet was like really the first to try to do it bigger than that. And it was the first few shows. I remember I volunteered. They needed somebody to help out with graphics. And so Terry and John Dusler, who ran the Planet, were good friends. And so Terry was like, hey, Johnny knows computers. He can help us. And so I volunteered to go down. I think was it USDGC or I can't remember if I went to USDGC first or the Memorial. I think it was the Memorial. I think Memorial was the first one. It might have been in 2010. And I volunteered to basically, I think they paid for my flight. And I went there and I just helped out and did some graphics and computer support when they needed it. Terry Roddy was there. They were using point-to-point, like microwave transmission. They could only go so far away. So they were at Fountain
No
Hills and they
way.
could go around. They could only go halfway around the lake and then it would die off. So then they would have to like double back. And they were using a true satellite dish, like one of the ones that you see in the 80s. It was big. It was like a big satellite dish. And they rented it. And that's how they transmitted it, because they had to actually coordinate with a satellite in the sky to make sure that it was pointed to the right place so it would work. And I didn't know anything about that. But eventually, at some point, and again, another pat on my back, we were trying to figure out how to broadcast easier. And at that point, I started looking at other ways to do broadcasts, and I found the LiveU company and they were very young. I think LiveU came out, and it was within a year that we had kind of said, "Hey, let's give this a try." It at the time it was off 3G signal. And I was like, "Yeah, but they've got like a bunch of modems. We can do some 3G. It'll be, it'll be fine. Maybe we can get to 480." And everybody loved it.
Yeah.
It was how we did it. And I sat there with a backpack on my back, connected up to Terry Roddy, who was carrying a camera, and I held a microphone with Dave Greenwell, and we walked around courses. And that was how we did Worlds. And so it was literally, I was the one who I don't want to, again, there's first and there's discoveries, and I didn't discover it because somebody else would have done it at some point. But I was the first person to suggest, let's do this via cellular. And that's how we're still doing it today. It's just better cell signal now. So yeah, we covered a couple events like that. And it's kind of cool.
It seems like so long ago. And I know I tease you about age and stuff like that, but like I have been playing for long enough that there were probably 3 years that was what it was discgolfplanet.tv, and I was watching those live events, and Crazy John and Dave Greenwell were like celebrities. And man, I remember watching with my father-in-law, and it was at USDGC, and Johnny McRae was 9 strokes ahead on hole 17, and I went home. So I'm dating his daughter at the time. He wasn't my father-in-law at the time. But we had stayed up kind of later, and he's 9 strokes ahead on hole 17. So Macbeth, or was it Macbeth that he was against? Who ended up taking that?
Shoestrick, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, like that's, he's got it. And I'm like, all right, I'm going home. So my, future father-in-law, he calls me about 30 minutes later and says, guess what? So-and-so won. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, the Johnny McRae went out of bounds like 5 times in a row or something. and took a whatever or he wasn't 9 strokes ahead. He took a 9, I
Took
think.
a 9.
He took a 9. That was where the 9 came in to be like tied or something. And then the guy won on the last hole. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sick that I left, and didn't get to see that moment live. But hey, hashtag live sports,
Yeah, and that's exactly it. We've done a lot of crazy things and been on the forefront of some things. Terry doing blogs, and then he wasn't one of the first. He is one of the first to do post production coverage. There was Ian at CCDG. There's McFly, and there's Terry and Jomez. I mean, and there's a few other people that kind of did one or two and then kind of vanished. But it's we used to get so excited to do just everything. Like going to Worlds was the most exciting thing for us every year, and I feel like the sport has, and it's part of getting bigger and older. The sport has lost a little bit of that, where we would get excited to go to the Hall of Fame ceremony at Worlds, which is where it was held every year, and we would get frustrated that nobody was filming it. So and at some point we started saying, hey, can we do it? Can we film it? And I think we did it one year, but it just, so many things are lost. They're just gone because nobody stepped forward to do it. And so that was kind of Terry and I's thing, like, well, let's do it. We can do it. We can do it cheaper.
Yeah.
That's how we came to be from the Planet.
Right.
Disc Golf Planet was charging, at the time we thought it was an arm and a leg. Like, I can't believe how much they're charging to do live coverage. We can do it so much cheaper.
Like $200.
I think the number was, at the time, it was like they were charging like $20,000 to an event to live stream it. And I remember thinking at the time, like that is outrageous. Like, and the PDGA is giving them money to do that. Like, we could do it at half the cost. And then we did. We did it at like a third of the cost. But now that I realize, like, they also had, they were paying their people good, like, real wages. they had more people. They had, 2 cameramen, the commentators, a graphics, and a computer. Like, at the time, then it was just like Terry and I are like, we'll get a camera or two. We'll get out and do that. And
they had to keep Crazy John supplied with beer for the entire event, and that's like a solid $850 right there.
Yeah.
Which was always my favorite part, by the way. I don't know him at all, but
I don't know if he drinks actually anymore.
Good for him.
I don't think he has in quite a while, but yeah, no, Crazy John. He's that guy's a character. Like, you never knew what he was going to say. So that was always a little scary, but he's one of those guys that no matter what he says, it's not meant mean-spirited ever. Like, he's just the nicest guy. And so there was one Worlds where he was walking around doing different impressions of different dialects, and not dialects, but accents. Like, just, he was like, I think he was talking about Simon Lizotte, and he started doing like an Austrian accent or a German accent, and then maybe it was Manabu, and he started doing, and I remember sitting there thinking, even 10 years ago, you're like, oh, yeesh, like this. Probably, let's kind of cut that, and we all said dumb things as kids, but you grow out of that. And he wasn't doing it to be mean or malicious. He was just having fun, and that was something that you would do in hanging out in your living room with your friends or something. And it just you kind of it made me grimace a little bit. But the guy is so good in front of a microphone and a camera. Yeah, he's a natural. Like, there's not. Yeah. Like, I feel Terry is a natural at being able to do that type of stuff. But Crazy John is right there, and Crazy John has done. He's a guy, like, Stokely wrote a book about his adventures. Crazy John's a guy that I would love to have all his stories down, because
John. Write it.
He would do. I know for a while he was doing emceeing at like the Playboy Mansion with Hefner and stuff, like and Budweiser, and like he did some really big things. And just he traveled all over the world to do stuff. I know he's fluent in Japanese, I believe. He's such an interesting guy, but he is, like I said, he's one of those guys. You put him in front of a camera, and you're never quite sure what's going to come out of him.
Oh my gosh. What is one? I won't pressure you with saying like the top, but what is just one of the amazing moments that you've been a part of over the last 10 years doing the live broadcasts, and just where I'm just imagining there's got to be a stream or a moment or a broadcast where you guys are all in the booth and just like high-fiving each other and just like, that was so sick. Like, let's go.
I mean, the Conrad's the holy shot. Clearly, that stands out. I mean, that's recent, and there's recency bias there. But I mean, I said before, or right after it happened, it was pretty amazing being part of it. And there's, being on site is one thing. Everyone's like, yeah, I was there at the shot. And then you're one of, 3 or not even 3, probably 2,000 people that were there on site overall.
Yeah.
But there's only 3 of us that were in that booth, and being able to pick the shots, being able to choose what we saw, what defined a shot.
You guys picked the holy shot.
We picked the holy shots.
Shots.
And so that's that to me stands out a lot. Our very first ace on camera. Well, there's 2 things. One, getting to commentate with Ken Climo at the 2011 Pro Worlds in Santa Cruz, when they didn't have somebody to do commentating, and so they just literally handed me a microphone, and they're like, "You're doing it."
Oh, sick.
And I was like, "Awesome! I can talk." I had no clue what I was doing. I got to walk around a course with Dave Greenwell and ask him questions and talk about golf, and that footage is nowhere to be found. It doesn't exist.
Dang it.
Like it.
Okay,
wait,
but you
I
guys
wish it did.
You're doing like the sideline reporter as the main
Yes.
commentary.
Yeah, we were literally like tethered to the camera. We had a 5 or 6 foot XLR cable and a microphone that I had to stand next to him and do this.
That's opening up a whole
Yeah.
box of memories, because that's kind of how it was for a bit, right? Terry's coverage too was him kind of on the mic. Okay, and actually, Paul Ulibarri has actually just thrown out of bounds, but he's behind the camera or walking with the mic.
It was an interesting time because the players could literally hear you commentating on them.
Right.
I still to this day, and I joked with Nate Doss about it, that's the year in 2011 when Nate won Worlds in Santa Cruz. It was a huge deal because he was from there, and I got to be part of it. And I was sweating like a pig, and the course was so dusty. My allergies were killing me. So people would have, and I'm sure they did, just tear you apart because I know I was sniffling on camera. Like I couldn't stop. My nose couldn't stop running, and I had nothing to do. So I'd hand the camera to him, and I'd be like, and then I would get back on, and I couldn't stop. Just allergies were killing me from where we were at. But I remember Nate Doss on his way to win threw a shot right up the gut and hit a tree. And I sat there and was like, ooh, that's going to be a really difficult up and down. And he turns and looks at me because I'm 15 feet from him.
Yeah,
He's literally in front of me teeing off, and I have to talk about what he did. And he gave me like this. And I didn't know Nate at the time. Like I knew him and he knew me, but it was like just barely, not like we are now. But he gave me like this stare, and it was like, ugh, like I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like
right.
this is my job now. I have to talk about you. And so it was very awkward. It was very awkward at times for like a year or two when it was just try to do it so they don't hear you, but everyone knew you were there.
And was it just kind of a case by case basis? Like sometimes we do it that way, sometimes we do commentary in post, or was post recorded commentary kind of did that kind of come next?
That really came next, honestly, because for live, it was we want someone to commentate. The only way to do it, we didn't have like a way to transmit the video from wherever the studio was to somebody else to commentate on to then push it out. So it was like, cool, you get whatever's on the camera, and that's it. That's all you get. You don't have a choice. And so if you wanted commentary, it was right from the camera, right next to the players. But that also honestly brought out a lot of really cool personalities because we would be stuck. We only had 2 cameras or 1 camera sometimes. You'd be stuck sitting there to back up. And so you would just get some of the more talkative players to just walk over and do an interview with you in the middle of their round. Just cool. Guess what? We're going to sit the Memorial Fountain Hills hole 7, 8. I think hole 8's the big backup, 8 or 9 or something, 7 or 8, I forget. I remember every year we'd sit there. And so sure enough, up would come Germ. Germ was the most talkative guy. That guy couldn't say no to a camera or a microphone.
Yeah.
Never saw a microphone the guy didn't like. But everybody, like, you'd just be standing around and it's like, well, who can we talk to? And nobody cared. It was like, yeah, sure, let's talk to Macbeth. He's having a good round. How's your round going, Paul? It's going all right. I missed the birdie on 2, but I think I'm going to get the next 3 or something. Okay, cool. Good luck, Paul. And 10 minutes later, he's teeing. And that's unheard of now. You wouldn't talk to a player in the middle of a round.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I don't want to say we're missing now. They're just different. It's a different environment. It's a much more professional environment. It was truly wild, wild west back then. It was just, what can we do to fill time? Who can we talk to? Hey, that guy, that guy works for the city. Let's bring him on and we'll just walk down the fairway and talk with him while these players are throwing. It was so much fun.
The teeter, the balance is shifting from where you had super laid back and every effort was made to make it more professional. Now it just is professional by default. And you kind of find yourself putting an effort to pull out the laid back nature of these players, right? Because now what we get on DGN is these players at their best grinding, right? So then you have to throw in kind of fun little segments, or that's why a lot of people have loved. I feel like one of them, Luke is a buddy of mine, Luke Humphreys, and is a great host. But I feel like one of the reasons that OTB Skins has been so popular is because we get that fascinating look at these players. Like, what would they be like in a casual round? And I think that we don't see that anymore. We used to, 10 years ago, you couldn't help but see what they are in a casual round because disc golf itself was casual, right? Mm-hmm. And now everything's so professional, you just never see them down at this level. So you have to go to kind of extra bonus content to get that.
Yeah. I think that has been one of the side things that the DGN has really been able to push out is getting, and all these post-production crews are I mean, they're all killing it. They all have their own little niche that they're doing, like the OTB Skins, the Joe Mess practice round. It seems like there's a couple different practice rounds these days. I think there's a few different companies that are doing them, but the OTB Skins is awesome. Like it's one of the best.
It's a great product.
It's a great product, and it's very similar. Not similar. I don't want to say that. Like, I don't want to steal any credit from what they're doing. Terry, I had an idea a couple years ago for the Pro Tour when the year or two after we started. It was like a year after we started Smashbox, because I remember Terry going to the bank to open up a Smashbox bank account, and him and I talking about this plan. Is I wanted to do Monday. It was like almost like a Monday fun day where we would have live, and it wouldn't be part of the Pro Tour thing. It would be live. I wanted to do like a match, a player match, like just a heads up, like kind of like almost like a match play, and do like, hey, guess what? We're gonna have basically what the match play event is that we're coming up on, but do it over the course of a season. Because I know a lot of leagues do this, and that's where I got the idea was, hey, you have to play this person by X day, and you have to play this person, and then they kind of build a bracket. And that's what I wanted to do. I told Terry, I said, it's like, that would be awesome if we could just, Monday or even Thursday before the event, get these players to play a competitive round against each other. Have Big Germ go up against Yuli and have Macbeth go up against, Kevin Jones or whoever I was talking about at the time, because I don't think Kevin was really around, and build like this cool bracket. And we kind of sketched it out. And at the time, him and I were like, well, it's going to be tough because then everybody has to get there a day earlier. That's like an extra day of camera work. That's an extra day of data, as we were so worried about paying for data. That's like an extra day of travel for Terry. Awesome. And for me, who was sitting back in the control room, it would have been easy. But that was like the big plan that we had. We had sketched all out one off season that we wanted to do, and it never came to fruition. And I think that was like 2017 or 2016. I think it was 2017 because I think it was the year after the Pro Tour started. They did the Pro Tour, and then I was thinking of other ways that we can use this new live equipment that we bought, that we invested a ridiculous amount of money on, that like came out of my pocket, and to use. I wanted to use it more and maybe build into something, and that just unfortunately, it never came to fruition. But that was the big thing, because I knew, even back then, I knew that there had to be extra. There had to be more. You had to be paying for something. And then the thought at the time was a pay-per-view. We would charge, we would charge X amount for it, and then each player would get a cut. So if it was Germ versus Yuli, we'll just say, and we charged $10 a person to watch that round, or $5 or whatever it is, if we had 100 people or 200 people, which we thought like that'd be a pretty good amount, 200 people watching just this extra thing, those guys can each get $300, and we'll take $300. And it just the money, the numbers just never quite made sense to us at the time. They could probably do it now. Like now would be a good time to do something possibly like that. So. Yeah, the OTB skins.
Fascinating.
Someone says the OTB skins is great because of Hogan. That's true.
Hogan is pretty awesome.
Yeah. There's always a Hogan shot. If Hogan's around in the DGN, Mo will make sure to get a shot of it.
Guy's got a pretty massive underbite, though. We need to get him to a little doggy dentist,
Little doggy dentist.
What are you working on right now that you can tell us that you're excited about? Is there anything that you're trying to develop, or even if it's not like okay, you have something.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, right now the main focuses are DGN and Skip Ace for me. Like, I've kind of everything else I've put to the side. Sorry, family, you don't make the cut. No.
Sarah's watching right now, like, oh, okay. Click.
She's not watching. I don't think Sarah's ever watched this.
Sarah doesn't watch?
No.
I guess Molly. This is only my third time, and Molly even checked out early. Yeah. So I guess I get that. If I did this every week, makes sense.
My wife's just happy that she can get to bed early on a Tuesday night. I don't we don't have to sit up and watch, because she can pick the bedtime now. She doesn't have to go whatever. So, no, she's not. She wouldn't be caught dead watching this. My wife. I could say anything I want. She'll never find out.
Don't blame her.
No, neither do I. Not at all. She has zero interest in disc golf. She's played one round in her whole life. And
not missing anything.
She's caddied. She's played one round. She's caddied one round for me, but she used to walk around a lot. When we were first dating, she would come on trips with me to local area, like the local courses, and she'd just walk around with me. But she never wanted to caddy. I got her to caddy one time. So
that's awesome.
That was the only time she ever. I think I've told the story. The only time she ever caddied for me was 2 days after my vasectomy. I went out and played. It was like September. We were going up to Northwoods, which was actually this past weekend, which was kind of fortuitous isn't the word, ironic isn't the word. The stars all aligned, because Adam Hammes is from Minocqua, Wisconsin, which is where Lac de Flambeau Minocqua is, where this, like, it's the Wisconsin event that everybody plays. It's up in the Northwoods. It's at a private resort. You get, if you've been there long enough, you get you get to stay in one of the 6 or 7 or 8 cabins that are on site. And so being us, me and Terry and whatever, we always had the big house is what it was called, because it was the big house. It was the big cabin on hole 26, depends on what the course layout, but hole 26. It overlooks the lake. The tee box is outside of our back door, right to a 230-foot shot to the edge of the water. It's the most gorgeous place. And so we would get 13 or 14 of us to go up there every year and stay in the cabin. And it used to be all golfers, and it kind of transitioned into golfers and wives. So half of us would go out and play. Our better halves would just sit around, drink wine, hang out by the campfire, and just mock us as we went around the course, as they saw us come through, and just, hey, how's it going? And you're either like, yeah, it's going great, or don't ask me, or whatever. So I ended like a fool. I scheduled. It was like the only time I could get scheduled in relatively at the time. I scheduled my vasectomy 2 days. I had it on a Wednesday, and the event started on a Friday. And so you're supposed to take it easy for the whole weekend, and I couldn't do it. I was like, no, I can't not play this event. Like you just can't not play it. So that was the one time she agreed to be my caddy. So she carried the bag.
My gosh.
I was very. It's a shorter course, so there's not a lot of like you're not throwing very hard. You're not trying to drive the disc. So
when
and
you
I
say she carried the bag,
she carried the bag. Yes, all the jokes in there. Yes.
What? Okay.
So
all right.
But yeah, that was the one time I got her to caddy for me, one weekend. And like I said, I cashed. That might be my most proud. My most proud moment is cashing at that event in open, like
with her on the bag.
With her on the bag 2 days after my vasectomy. So like, I mean, everything lined up for me there. Yeah. So there was that. But as far as like things I'm excited about.
Oh, hang on. Hit pause on that for a second.
Pause.
Just really quickly, I have a few favorite aces, but definitely top 3. Because my family never goes with me to play disc golf. I mean, probably less than 5 times.
You've got like 15 kids, and
I have like 15 kids. So getting us all out there, we usually would play like 3 holes. Yeah, and then we go to McDonald's or something healthy.
No, you have what? You have 4 children?
I have 4 children.
4 children.
Yeah. And they're all like the same age.
Yeah, I know.
Basically
I've seen
quadruplets.
I've seen pictures of them, and they don't. Are they not interested in playing yet, or are they?
Well, even the kids. I'll take the kids out onesie twosie. Sometimes all 4. But just the fact that all 6 of us were there at the same time, and I aced. That's like it was just. So it was a thumber ace too, of all things.
Wow,
and it was
I've
just
only
like
seen
so
one
special.
of those in my life.
Yeah, I have 2 now. Believe
What?
it or not. It's like, go figure. No, but that's all I was going to say. Like, I get that, like, just because of the infrequency of your spouse's, like, involvement with you on the course, something cool happening, that just makes it like times 20.
Yeah. No, it's, it is. It made it a lot, more special. Just the fact that because normally she used to kind of have a philosophy. She's like, I'll walk around with you for like half a round up there because it's a heavily wooded course. It's gorgeous up there. So she'd walk around and then she'd kind of wander back to the cabin and just, do whatever. And this time she had to walk with me for both full rounds. So it was all 3 of that year. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3. I think maybe it was just 2. But either way, she had to walk around with me the whole time. So it was really nice and special. But, yeah. So the thing that I'm working on right now is for Skip Ace. The way it's just a new way to play, really, and I'm hoping to get it rolled out by early to mid-October for me, and then kind of debut it in November or December. So the way
is there an app?
Not yet. Apps are very expensive.
We're
working
on, dude.
Got to make some money first.
Come on.
I have
you've got my pledge. How much am I paying you for my Skip Ace account?
5 rate carry the 1 0 still. Yeah.
Oh, so you can't really pull from that to invest in the app because
Skip Ace has made me a total of $210 in my life.
It sounds like my YouTube account.
I know. It's kind of sad.
That's awesome.
210. So we're getting there. We're starting to get the high rollers. But for next year, so the way typical, like right now, fantasy football is like crazy right now. And have you ever participated in like a fantasy football thing or at all?
I have so many times that I've never finished one ever. I'm so bad at I'm an Enneagram 7 if you're familiar, and like I'm so all in on things that are exciting to me, but the second they're not exciting to me, I'm just like they might as well not exist.
So the whole deal with fantasy football is you sit down and you draft a team for your season, and that's the team you get and you get to play. Well, for disc golf, I've never played it that way. You did a weekly redraft.
It's event specific.
It's event specific. Next year we'll be rolling out a season-long draft where you can get together, hopefully with like in a draft room with your friends, and you get a list of all the players. Everybody takes turns picking, and that's your team for the season. You'll be able to like add and pick up players and remove them. and things like that. So I'm excited for that because that's more of a traditional fantasy sports method as to way to go. So I think that will get some really good traction, and I'm hoping that people that enjoy fantasy sports will have another way to play.
So you are doing that for 2022, or is that
that's the goal?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. That is the next big evolution, so to speak, in Skip Ace. So
I mean, that's a pretty big overhaul, right? Because it's been not that for 10 years or something.
Correct. There'll be the other way will still be there to play. It'll just be depending on how you want to run your particular league. So when you sign up,
it's an option.
And it's an option. You'll be able to do like a year-long roster or a weekly roster, or however I phrase it, wording. So it'd just be like, hey, how do me and my buddies want to play? Do we want to pick a team and keep that team, or do we want to be able to repick every year with a salary cap and this and that? So I've got my web developer is going to be working on that right after he finishes the next project, hopefully for USTGC, that I really want him to get done, because I think it could.
And what is? Come on, give us a little hint. What's it pertaining to? What's the category?
It's very much along the lines of, well, here's what I can tell everybody what the plan is. I won't give too many details. The plan for USDGC is to offer prizes, like kind of like what I'm doing now for like the USDGC event. So you go in, you'll sign up. It'll be like a pay to play, so you have to pay $5 to play, and then a very good portion of that money I want to donate to a disc golf charity. So there is so like if we get 500 people to play at $5, $2,500 will go to a charity. That's the big thing. The
sports betting,
fantasy. It's a skill based challenge.
That's what Galactic in the challenge.
Not yet. Sports betting. Like ultimately, I would love to get that. So right now, Galactic Conqueror, there is a very distinct and fine line legally between sports gambling and fantasy sports. Fantasy sports is a team-based event. It's a skill challenge by the letter of the law. It is gambling is the result of a single outcome, a single player, a single thing. Fantasy sports requires a team or it is not dependent on one particular outcome, as I think the definition of it. That is by the letter of the law. I've done a lot of research on this because ultimately I would love it if Skip Ace turned into like a DraftKings kind of thing, where you could, if you wanted to bet, if you wanted to be able to put $10 in on a team and the winner gets whatever. But my goal is to have a really cool prize for whoever wins. So you $5 to play. Whoever wins gets this really cool prize, and that's what I'm working on right now. Is
the
lining
DGA
up some
Mock Shift? Oh no, it's not in the. You can just see one chain of it.
You can see one chain. There's the single chain.
Yeah. Hang on, I got you. You just keep going.
JVD understood. What state could we set up a disc golf sports book through? Which one would make sense? Like Nevada doesn't have enough players. That's a great question, Galactic. I don't know yet. It's legal in fantasy sports is legal in about 42, I think, states, 40 to 42 states. And of those 42, there's like 8 of them where it's like there's no law against it, but there's no law for it, so to speak. It's a legal gray area. Like Wisconsin, where I live right now, there's nothing that says you can't, because it's technically not gambling, but there's nothing that says you can because they have not legalized it. So crazy. Ryan Pitch says when you explain it like that, it sounds like fantasy is more of a gamble than just betting on a single outcome. I'm just saying, like, I've got plans. So, but yes, next year I'm hoping to have the whole full roster where you can pick and play and rack up wins, and then for USDGC I want to have some really cool prizes and raise hopefully some good money for charity, depending on the prizes I can pull down. So I've put in a few calls to some people, and we'll see what we get. I'm not done making calls either. So.
One of the charities could be the 501c3 that I'm sorry I don't have all the paperwork done, but you can just
Just
Go
send
ahead
it your
and finish. Just send it my way.
Okay,
I'll donate it as soon as I get the paperwork.
once you get that paperwork, you can. Just
Filed.
curious, your 501c3.
It's kind of a 501c2 right now. We're trying to get it up.
Can I get
You
it up
know,
to a 3? Yeah, I mean,
get it up to a
but in our
3.
sport,
It's
twos
the
are better. Twos are better than 3s. I mean,
Well-
you don't want a 501c4.
The IRS does not recognize that system, but I've been trying to explain it. It's the Disc Golf Comedic Children's Association of America.
If you throw children's in there, I'll give you
Incorporated.
money just because of that. I mean, it's for the kids.
Oh, that's not even why. It's the real thing. It's,
Okay.
kids, you
So,
hit them
which one
if they're tough looking.
do you think any of your children will pick up the sport? Seriously,
Well, they all
tournament play.
they all
at all?
could.
I mean,
I mean, my son Jay is he's a pretty amazingly coordinated child, and I think he's kind of got it all in terms of, seems to be pretty smart and talented, pretty adept. I mean, he was swimming when he was 2.
wow.
Saved his life, by the way, because he snuck outside one night at my parents' house, and my sister came in with him. He's dripping wet. She comes inside. She was like, he was crying and holding on to he's a baby.
Yeah.
Right. She was like, he was crying. He snuck outside and fell or jumped in the pool. And we had just been working with him the last few weeks before that on swimming.
Wow.
And he swam back to the edge and held on there. And, my sister was out and hurt him. And I just like,
I can't even imagine.
that story still scares me to this day. But all that to say, like, the kid has pretty amazing hand-eye coordination, but I don't know, because I could also see him doing a lot of other things. And my whole life have been driven by fun. And I have so many weird hobbies and different, like just eclectic skill set, just because I go really hard into something for like 6 months and then it's just boring as dirt and I move on to the next thing. But for some reason, disc golf has been the thing that kind of overarching has just always remained fun for 13 years.
That's great. I mean,
And then in and out, all that to say, with my kids, I don't
Yeah.
care. I just want them to be having fun.
and that's how I feel about my son too. So it's, he's on the swim team right now. He's a really good swimmer. Like, I don't think he's Olympic class swimmer, but he's just a good, solid swimmer on the swim
Yeah.
team. And he's shown a little bit of interest in disc golf, not too much. Like he's interested when I'm interested. Like if I go out and play, he'll want to come out and play with me. But it might be more just be around dad time, and then it is like,
I
hey,
don't know.
I want to. I mean,
I'd be
I don't know
surprised if that was
why.
it,
I don't know
honestly.
why.
Yeah, I think that actually that means he's pretty into disc golf. It's like, in spite of being around
in
my
spite of being
dad,
around
I'm
me,
gonna.
still, yeah.
I mean,
But still, he's
play.
God, he's like, I just need a ride out here, Dad. You don't have to play with me. Pools are death traps, says Ray. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Splashbox update. What kind of strokes is your kid best at? Freestyle. Freestyle, and it's a toss up. I mean, that's his best stroke. But he doesn't.
How many are there? I could
4.
only name breaststroke,
Yep.
freestyle, butterfly. I think that's all I could name.
You're missing
Backstroke.
There you go. There's your 4.
Is that it?
Yep.
Gosh.
You got it. You can
Nailed it.
swim the IM now. So
I don't know what that means.
it's a medley.
The International Mile. Oh,
No,
okay.
it's the medley. It's back in my day it was back breast fly free, and now I think it's fly back breast free. I think they switched up. They switched up the order that you swim them in now.
They wanted
Back when I
to
was a
read
kid.
like a creepy sentence.
Yes.
It really presents more questions than answers, but
So yeah, he's not great at the backstroke. His freestyle is really good. Actually, the teacher that when we told him we were moving because he's going to be on a new swim team starting next week, she was very sad. She's like, "Ugh, I love watching him swim the freestyle because he's just got such a really long I mean, he's a giant like me. He's got such a really long reach, and he's just very good at it. And he's decent at the fly and the breast, but like he doesn't have a ton of upper body strength yet. So, we'll see. Again, that's one of those things, like I did it in high school and I liked it, and so I thought he would like it, and he does. If he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it. I don't really care.
Right.
But damn it, he'll do it and he'll excel, and that's it's gonna pay for college. No, I'm just kidding.
I want him to have fun, but if he doesn't, it's not really a factor.
It's not
He's still
really,
gonna do
he'll
it.
still have to do it. So
Either way,
guess what?
I guess I have that. My son, I don't care if my son, plays disc golf, but he is going to learn how to beatbox because he's
Okay.
been doing that. He just walks around and he constantly makes mouth noises, and he can kind of beatbox now, and he's got this innate rhythm. And I'm like, I'm gonna force this on him because I've always kind of secretly wanted to be able to do that really well, and so I'm like, you're gonna do this for both of us, son. So buckle up.
There's nothing wrong with pushing your failures on your kids.
Thank you. Okay, because that's a good way to sum it up. That's what I'm trying to do,
I mean,
and that's okay, right?
yeah, yes. My wife has a nice inscribed wooden piece hanging up on our wall. It's like, my failures will be my kids' successes. So whether they like it or
Smart.
not. So,
Man, your wife sounds like a real jerk.
oh, she is.
Oh, she's never gonna listen to. Hey,
Never.
just
She'll
notice we have
never
the
hear
same
this.
Sony MDR 7506s. I heard they were the best, and we only get the best.
Yeah, 7506. That's what I have. Mine are actually starting to come apart in the inside.
Oh,
Like when the little black flakes are coming off of my ears. I've had them for 4.5 years now, so 5 years almost.
you should see your dermatologist while you're at it, just to make sure that that's
That is, yeah. I mean,
the headphones and not
it could be coming from inside of my ears. I don't know.
right little black ear flakes
Yeah, that's
getting
that's
onto your
not-
headphones.
It's not unheard of. How about
The
you?
headphones are like,
What do you have going on? I mean, obviously you're working for DGA. You're doing the commercials. You're doing media. You still have disc golf comedy.
gosh, I don't even want to talk about those. Listen, let me tell you something. DGA is terrible. Okay, they are the worst people that you can imagine. But the product, the baskets and the discs are just so flippin' good, JVD. I can't bring myself to quit. But I got to tell you, the amount of abuse, and just the caustic work environment, it's a lot. But I
mean-
do enjoy acing, and I do that every round with DGA discs guaranteed. And you too
You too
can have this power.
s-
I've got
Yeah.
always a lot of things going on. I've been super like looking at the meta this last 6 weeks since we moved to Kansas City. It's been a couple months now, and just looking at the meta about disc golf comedy and the extra comedic stuff that I've been creating. DGA has been so awesome with having vision for some of the silly, stupid things that I do, which is just, I just can't even begin to describe how cool it is, because I have a lot of weird stuff, that I just kind of have to get out. And most every other job is like, I'm going to do my 9 to 5. And then like in the evenings or on the weekends, that's when I can do this other kind of creative stuff. Well, DGA is giving me more and more of a platform to be able to, because as I have found stuff fun and funny, there's a lot of other people like me out there. And there's people even in disc golf who are similar to me. And there's people who have money, which is not incredibly like me, but we bait them in with the humor. So
You
I
should
think
stop
that we've
buy-
seen
You should
the
stop
results.
buying children. They're expensive.
That's the thing
I mean,
about adoption. I got to tell you about adoption through the foster care system later. We'll do it after we get off the call. I'll tell you. The government actually pays you.
No.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You should look into it. You could use a couple more kids.
No.
I just passed out for a second.
I can't even imagine. Honestly, I can't. Like with my daughter, there's no way I could handle another kid.
Right.
It's a scary thought.
Okay, settle down. Get out of that. Don't go down that road. So our GMC ads are done. I'm super stoked on those. Check them out if you're watching the GMC coverage. There is Galactic. I'm actually in Kansas City as well. I'm starting to make more funny content with DGA, which is kind of what all that was leading to. Kind of meld the two practices. But I am working on something right now where I have ripped all of your footage of the Disc Golf Network's pre-round interviews or the press conferences.
Oh, nice.
I have stolen the last 3 or 4 press conferences off of YouTube, and they're sitting in a folder on my computer. I actually, ironically, was going to start on this project tonight. This was way more enjoyable than what I was going to do, which was to start the bad lip reading montage of the supercut of the press conferences. I am really excited to see that final product, and I already hate myself at the thought of what it's going to take to get there, because those are hard.
That's tough
projects.
Yeah, that's
I have not, maybe 3D modeling. I haven't done anything in the last 3 years that leaves my brain like so deflated. You know, like after a session of that where I just walk away and I just feel like I can't even think straight because it's like on such high RPMs. Maybe if I was smarter, it would be easier, but
not even the name video that you did.
Disc Golf Story.
The greatest disc golf story. Yeah.
That's fair, because I do remember the next day after that, there was this massive creative like letdown or like detox where I felt like for a day or so after that, I was like, I am strung out. Like that was a little bit of a marathon, you know? And yeah, but I'm excited. Like I want to do the bad lip reading thing because I feel like I can. And talking about products, you know, like with the OTB skins, it's kind of the same idea. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I would love to see somebody else do that. Like, go do it, guys. Like, it is, it's super intense. But I think that things like that are good for the sport, you know?
I agree.
Grow it overall.
There's not a lot of disc golf comedy videos out there, like humor videos.
Not like original content for sure.
There's not a lot of original.
I wish there was more.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many memes, but as far as
a handful of people do really good like memeing footage. Okay. You know, I think about like Murder Mike or there's quite a few people who can who can like take stuff and kind of cut it up in funny ways and things.
Yeah.
I would love to. I definitely do not have a zero-sum mentality about funny in disc golf stuff. I would love to see more funny people making disc golf specific content. I think that would be a blast.
It's how I feel about live, honestly. Like I wish there was more live. The whole European thing has me excited. I'm already I already subscribed to it because I want to support them. I reached out to them a while ago and was like, hey, if you need anything, like just holler. I'll explain it. I got time, assuming, I can help. Like, not physically, I can't actually do anything, but if they have any questions about any processes or anything like that, like none of it is secret. Like I'd be happy to see another live company step in, and I'm excited that they're they're over there doing that, because I got to watch some of it this weekend for just a few minutes, and some of it's pretty good. I mean, they need some help with the cameras. Their camera guys are still getting into a groove, but
who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, our guys, I could call cameras better. My cameraman could be a little bit more, could pay a little bit better attention. We could all be better, and that's not, on anybody. That's a lot. It's a lot on me, being able to talk to the cameras the right way. But I like I said, I talked to the guys, and I know Terry's talked to them a long time ago in the past. I don't know if he's talked to them recently, but those guys over in Europe are doing cool stuff, and I'm excited because there should be. I'm a fan of just in general competition and growing. I think it'll help out everybody. Someone says disc golf comedy news could be interesting. Huh. Almost like you tried that once.
Man, that's a great example of how do I want to say this? So much work that I was happy to do. I was having a blast the whole time making those. Mm-hmm. The DGC news, the two that I did were I'm so proud of those. And like the people that watched them loved it, but they just didn't. I really thought that they would do more. It's Steve Martin's quote is, be so effing good that they can't ignore you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it seems like at some point I could just do something like put so much time, money, and effort into something that it kind of has to go viral. And I've tried that a few times, and it's literally all about the timing, because I've had those things go viral that took 30 minutes on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
And there's just not a ton of right, which is super frustrating to me. I want it to be an input output,
There's no rhyme
I want
or
it to
reason
be.
to it.
I put 40 hours into this, so it's going to get 400% more, as opposed to this thing took me 20 minutes, so it's only going to go this far. I think we should just so we could be our own competition. So why don't you get into making little sketch videos, and I have vMix, so I can do a competitive live streaming service.
Yeah, go for it. I would be happy. I think that'd be awesome.
I'm on it.
All right, I will.
The Disc Golf Comedy Network, DGCN.
Oh, there you go.
There's something to this.
Yeah, I'd have to think of something comedy related that I would want to do. Something funny.
You and Terry, people would pay to see some JVD and Terry skits. I'm just saying. Come on. You guys like having a funny interaction on a course?
Yeah, we've had our fair share of fun. We've done our we've done the rounds. We've traveled this country, East Coast to West Coast, and at one point, and again, this was when we were in our 20s, I could name the local dance club for every city that had a national tour spot.
That was your vibe in between rounds, or
in between,
before or after tournaments?
Yeah. Honestly, that's what Terry and I did. We traveled so that we could go out and have fun. That's why, like to us, the play was secondary. We knew we weren't winning. Terry, if he was lucky, he was going to take like a low cash spot in open, and I was going to probably, take some cash spot in advance. Or, at the time you win, like, cool, I won $45 in funny money. Like, let's buy my 3 discs. And meanwhile, we've spent, a couple $100 traveling to wherever we're going. We would get to an event, if it was, let's say, a Saturday, Sunday event, we'd get there on Thursday night. If we got there early enough, maybe a Friday night, we'd pull into the first gas station in the city, and we'd ask the clerk, where do you go to have fun? That usually involves dancing. And they would tell us whatever the local dance club was. And so Terry and I would scope it out, and we would go. And that was...
Man, you and Terry,
years.
like, you guys are like, that's like you're in a mosh pit. I mean, that's kind of the era, right? Are you guys listening to like some... What are you dancing to?
It's usually
Nickelback.
some sort of hip hop. Yes. Look at this photograph.
Look at this photograph, and
it's
you
all we'd
Terry
scream
just...
over and over. It was our jam. It was great. No, but that's what we did, and that was fun for us because there were so many nights that we just come crawling in at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then have to be on the course by 7:30, and that's, that was why we did spring breaks. That was why we did so many trips, because it was just fun for us. Our goal was to meet as many people as possible. Who can we meet? Let's have an adventure. Let's get our car towed at Worlds. Let's go. Let's get almost pulled over by a cop in Atlanta. Let's do. We just whatever we could do. It was what it's. Yeah, it was. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun back in the day. So.
And you're still alive.
And we're still alive because we were smart. We had smart fun. We were never, that's the one thing, I think that's kept Terry and I friends and together for so long, is that we have a very similar mentality on a lot of things, and stupidity is one of them. Like, we like to go out and have fun, but we're not stupid. Like, we would never do something dumb.
Right.
It's just not, it wasn't in us. Like, one of us was always sober. There's never drinking and driving involved. A lot of times because, half the time we knew we had to get up early. So, it was fun. It was to the point where we'd roll up at some events and people would just start yelling at us on the course, like, "Where did you go last night?" And it was because that's what we were. I mean, we were literally known around the country for doing things like that. It was so we spent our 20s playing disc golf. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And then we partied a lot. So
I've still got it on my. I've actually been able to cross off a few things on my disc golf bucket list, which is pretty amazing. But still on there is to have a beer with JVD and Terry.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Like in person.
Yeah, I know. No, I know.
We're gonna do that.
I keep thinking, like, I'm looking forward, hopefully, to next year when I can take many weekends off of broadcasting and let somebody else handle the switching, and I can go to more events, because I would go to GBO. That's fun. That's one of my favorite events to go to. MVP.
You can't go to GBO, Johnny.
Why not?
Because it's gone.
That's true. I can go to the DDO. I can go to the DDO now.
Exactly. Go to DDO.
But do that, being able to actually travel and
come to DDO. I'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you all night. I got it. I'll start a tab.
That could be dangerous.
Let's see this. I want to see the dancing. And
GBO used to be the only place we'd go. Well, it was like the last place we'd probably go and dance, because the latest in our careers. Because after GBO, everybody would go to the Firehouse, I think was the name of the bar. That was where all the disc golfers would go on Saturday night. And Sunday was a travel day. I've seen some things at that bar from pros, it is a lot of fun. And you kind of I don't think that place is open anymore either. It used to be down at the end of the Block Party Street, where that's where many end up. So
plus or minus 4, how many professional disc golfers have you seen vomiting at a party? I'm saying it's around 4. That's my guess.
I think probably the number's closer 6 to 7 between MPO, FPO, and even some advanced players.
Right.
The real question is something we haven't brought up in a long time. How many world champions have I mooned? A lot.
Well, hopefully only the MPO, and maybe not even then. I mean, I guess
it was a different time,
sexual
my
assault
friend.
Is really not okay.
It was a
no
different
matter
time,
who it's
my friend.
to. Is that number greater than 6 or 7?
Yes.
JVD's the mooning guy.
I was for a long time. I'm shocked. There's not a picture with as much as, yeah.
Oh man.
I've mooned Climo a number of times. Barry Schultz. He was on the moon list.
If you're just joining us, we're starting the after show here on
show.
Smashbox TV, and it's exactly what you would expect.
It was, yeah. We had to, for whatever reason, when we were in college and just after, we thought it was the funniest thing. Because that's when you'd play two a day events. So you'd play around in the morning, around in the afternoon. So everybody would get in their car and drive to the next course. It was just so much. It was, for whatever reason, we found it so funny that I just put them up on the glass and we just drive by and honk, and you'd be like, "There's Jay Redding," like, "Oh God," it's just, I don't know why we got a kick out of it. It was it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's so. All right, buddy,
I'll unhide this one from Ray.
Yeah.
You were kind of like the hot dog bandit, of your time. Pun not intended, but
Hope
I mean,
not.
yeah, exactly. You're doing it wrong. If
yes, you're doing it wrong.
You are.
If that's how. Like that was.
You're kind of.
Yeah, those, like I said, those were different times. Those were many different times. Many years ago. It's been a long time since I've done anything like that. But yes. I do wish Ben. I do wish Ken would do more commentary. I think he's very good at it. So,
well,
but it's
thank
late.
you for providing me a front row seat to all the things that all of us Smashies wish. You and Terry always just sit here and just babble on about disc golf and all the happenings, and all of us are like, man, I wish they would just do like a Terry and JVD episode, and talk about all your guys' exploits.
Yeah.
So thanks for giving us a little taste.
Next time you're on, I don't know if I've talked totally about it. We'll talk about the time in Houston when our car got towed at Worlds.
Okay.
At 3 a.m.
Oh my god.
What do you do? You figure it out. So
next time I'm on, I hope Terry's around.
I hope so too.
That's my goal. We'll find out.
Like I said, he doesn't not like you.
No.
All right, Tyler. It's been an after
We did
show.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me be a part. It's been an honor. And everyone in the chat who said that Terry is better than me at this
They don't know
is
what they're
right.
talking about. Yeah. I mean, they don't know what
No,
they're talking
they're
about most of the
absolutely
time,
right.
but they're probably right. Terry's better
But
than me.
they're right on
at
that
this,
one. Terry is Bay. I mean, Terry is legend.
He's the original.
Legend.
He's the OG.
He's the OG, and as are you, JVD. So
Just happy to
huge
be part
fan.
of it. Happy
Thanks
to be
for
part
letting
of
me
it.
be a part of the show tonight.
Oh, always. Whenever I run out of a guest host, you'll be at least the third person I call. You're on the list.
Okay, deal. Perfect.
All right, Tyler. For me and Tyler and Allie earlier tonight, this has been episode 367, I believe is what I have this down as. Maybe it's 367. Yeah, it is 367's after show. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you next Tuesday. Step inside the smash box or something is what he says.
Yeah, you got to say when you step inside the smash
step
box.
inside the smash box.
Yeah.